thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center. And now that 2026 is here, it's the new year. It means a new you. The Raleigh Weight Loss Center program has successfully helped thousands of people like myself lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in 60 days. Schedule your free 15-minute phone call to learn more. Call Raleigh Weight Loss Center at 919-897-7506 or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Welcoming you back to appointment day at the Martinez house. Raul Martinez looking stressed about scheduling a colon cancer screening. But he just pledged to get screened.
Stand Up to Cancer and Optum want to help you reduce your risk for cancer. Visit takeahealthystand.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-296-6868. That's 800-296-6868.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Yep, it's another cold day today, but the wind has started to kick up, so it feels even colder. Wind chills in the 20s with a high this afternoon of 37. Clear and cold tonight at 21, and then tomorrow, high just 35 degrees. We'll see increasing clouds. Expect some snow showers to begin Friday night and continue all day Saturday and Saturday night. We could see 3 inches or more across our area, and a winter storm watch is in effect.
Weather update brought to you by Blue Shark Vodka, the world's smoothest vodka. Pour Blue Shark Vodka at all of your events to lift everyone's spirits. Blue Shark Vodka, the shark that doesn't bite. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 113 points to 48,902.
Jankowski catching out of it and change across. They score! Will Carrier. Carolina with another shot. Jarvis. And Seth Jarvis snipes it home. Blake goes rink wide for Hall. Hall drifts with a shot. He scores! Always a good idea to send it to the net. Jankowski catching out of it and change across. They score! Will Carrier buries it from Jankowski. And Carolina takes a 1-0 lead.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Happy Thursday, everybody. It is a hockey night in Hartford. It is a hockey night in Carolina. Whalers night, which is where that came from. Little Thursday, January 29th action. Looking forward to a good show. I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox producing the show. It is a Whalers night, so that's going to be woven throughout the show. That bit of information and the excitement around cool logos, cool jerseys, cool merch, hopefully good hockey. Utah Mammoth are in town. So that'll be woven in throughout the show. And spoiler alert, it's where we're going to start the Big 3 at 3 as we start the show. Number 1, Whalers versus Utah tonight. Canes versus Utah tonight, 7 o'clock. You can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. Few things. One, we are expecting Brandon Bussey in net, which is exciting because he's 19-3-1. Looking for big number 20 in the win column for Brandon Bussey. Shane Gostisbehere is expected back. He hasn't played in about half a month. January 13th, I believe, is the last time we saw him on the ice. He's had a few for lack of a better term, ouchies throughout the year, right? They just keep him out for a couple of week type deals.
17 games missed.
But it would be one thing if it was like a big injury, he missed 17 games, right? It's like he comes back for a couple of weeks, he goes away for a couple of weeks, comes back for a couple of weeks, which makes it even more kind of crazy that he's kept in rhythm, right? He's essentially a point-per-game player, 35 games played, but obviously some injuries shortening some of those. 32 points for a defenseman that, is obviously an offensive-minded defenseman, but still, right? He leaves, he comes back, he leaves, he comes back. He just kind of keeps picking up where he left off. Hopefully he can do so again tonight as he's back in the lineup. Eric Robinson out as expected, right? That one's a longer-term deal. Other than that, the Canes are pretty much as they envisioned, right? That's always how I describe it. When the GM put together, when Eric Tulsky put together the roster, this is kind of how we envisioned it, right? I throw Robinson in there. I'm sure I don't want to say he envisioned Brandon Bussey being what Brandon Bussey is, but, happy accident, right? Every surprise doesn't have to be a scary surprise. And so that's what it is going into Utah. It is a Whalers night. I have done quite a bit of research on who plays well in Whalers games. And, this could be tipping my first goal scorer prediction for later on. But in Whalers games, Aho is a point-per-game player. He scored 6 goals in 7 games over the last 7. I only went back to 2021. I guess you could go further than that if you want to. Here's the real rub of it all, okay? Here's where, if I can predict a outroar from Canes fans tomorrow, this is what I would do. This is actually kind of a wild statistical anomaly. Of the 7 Whalers nights, going back to 2021, right? A couple of years had more than one. 4 of them have gone to overtime. Of the 7.
Oh, okay.
3 of them have gone to shootouts. And anytime there's a shootout, there's going to be uproar tomorrow.
Oh, of course.
Who's chosen, who's not. And the crazy part is, and I went back and looked at them all. If you look at some of the names that Rod Brindamore put out there in some of these shootouts, I would assume there was just as much. They lost a shootout because Freddie didn't stop either of the first 2. The only 2 shootout attempts for the Canes came from Burns and Teravainen.
Nice.
It's just like a, throwback there. But, for all he picked a defenseman over Aho. Think of the scores that they would have had in 2023. And the first one out was Brent Burns. Like there's a little method to the madness occasionally, and occasionally it just looks kind of goofy.
Heck, there was a time when Jacob Slavin was one of the first 3 guys out.
And
he actually was good at it, though.
Yeah, it's a different skill set. I keep telling people. There was a shootout that went Natchez, no. Aho, no. Slavin, no. Niederreiter, no. To finish. That was the group. Hamilton, no. Trocheck, no. Svech, yes. That was just one single shootout back in 2022, whenever it was. So my point is, Whalers night, it brings a little crazy, brings a little close game, brings a little overtime. So if the odds and history plays out, we should be in for a good one tonight against Utah. That is number 1. Let's get to number 2.
Number 2.
ESPN put out a mid-season list of what they called the top 50 players in college basketball. And I'll describe it to you the same way they describe it in their opening paragraph. It's essentially a 50-player All-American team at the mid-season point. Okay? And the local players, right, the triangle players that were on the list, I thought it was kind of interesting, right? You can learn something. We're not learning anything about the players. You watch the games for that, but you can learn about the swell. You can learn about the hype, right? You can learn about the narrative surrounding players by lists like this. First of all, they felt the need to single out 3 players in the opening paragraphs that you may have expected to be in there at the beginning of the year that are not in the top 50. And one of those names mentioned, Darian Williams of NC State. So that was the this is just based on the first half of this year, so don't be surprised when you don't see players like, and they threw Darian Williams' name in there. State fans probably could take some disrespect from that, right? Could have just let it be. Didn't have to single him out, but they did. Number 38 on the list, top 50 college basketball players of the first half of the season. Isaiah Evans from Duke. flamethrower, that second shooter. And the description was exactly the storyline that we've been following throughout.
Where did he rank?
38th.
38th? Okay.
And they said, at the beginning of the year, it was a question about Duke. Could you have the second scorer? And then Evans, in ACC play, has scored X amount of points per game, and he's settled into that position. That is the story that we've been tracking, right? Who's the second scorer? Who's the second scorer? And it's kind of moved to who's the third scorer? Where do they find consistency scoring outside of Cam Boozer and Evans? So credit to him. And 38, it's pretty good. 28th best player of the first half of the season in college basketball, Henry Vesar, UNC, big man, 7-footer. He continues to be my most pleasant surprise. And he continues to be, Dennis put a pat on our own back. He continues to prove the aura conversation from ACC tip-off and kickoff just is darn near as good predicting as anything. We should start gambling on it. He had a little bit of confidence. You could just tell he was comfortable, and he came out, and he's the 28th best player in the country. Meanwhile, sharing the court with, here's the next update, the 4th best player in the country, Caleb Wilson.
All right.
So there's certain oxygen that goes to the 4th best player in the country if you're both, 6'10" and above, and you're both playing most of the same minutes. And Vesar has still found room to get his production in, and he finished 28th and then number 1 overall. So Caleb Wilson, monster. I've been maybe driving his bandwagon since before the year. He's number 4. Number 1, Cameron Boozer. That's just a statistical based argument. He's first in the country in scoring, with a top 10 in rebounds, and also throwing in 4 assists. And doing so darn near every game, right? It's incredibly high floor. Cameron Boozer and Caleb Wilson. I mean, whatever the upper tier of players in college basketball are, they're in it. But I thought the Evans and Vesar ones were okay. People are getting ahead of this. They're trying to make sure there's reasons for UNC and Duke to be very, very good. Obviously, different levels, but still. That's number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
The NFL coaching carousel continues to turn. We're seeing interviews. We're seeing coordinators move. I said it yesterday. 18 teams expected to have different offensive coordinators. It's more than half the league.
That's kind of wild.
I mean, it is, until you think, 10 new head coaches.
Yeah.
And it's pretty rare for an offensive coordinator. Sometimes defensive coordinators do, but offensive coordinators almost never stick around while the new coach comes in. So there's 10 right out the gate. Let's say there's 5 head coaches that are trying to save their job, so they're doing the whole, I'm making changes. Look, I'll fire my offensive coordinator. And then you throw in 4 offensive coordinators that are anticipating getting other head coaching jobs. You're up over 19 already, or you're up over 18 already, right? There's kind of a path there. Raiders, Cardinals still looking for their head coach, so maybe another offensive coordinator goes there. Maybe a player or somebody goes and takes an offensive coordinator with them. Who knows? But the reason why I paint all this chaos and how voluminous, right? Just the percentage of teams that are in some kind of coaching transition, either head coach, coordinator, defensive coordinator, or all 3, is because the Panthers are sitting this one out. No, we're good. Head coach, I guess Evero is still in the mix for the Raiders, but I really haven't heard his name pop up in the last week or so. It was coming up more previous to. So I'll leave the door open for that to happen. But for the most part, the Panthers are like threading the needle perfectly, walking the fence perfectly between overachieving or playing so well that your coordinators go and get head coaching opportunities, and the opposite, which is playing poor enough, or underachieving enough that you need to fire some coaches and move things around. They're really not even moving on from like position coaches, right? There's very little. They might give a guy a title or something like that, right? Oh, you're now run game coordinator or whatever, but they're not changing much. And I think this is a glass half full, glass half empty thing, because they were 8 and 9. Somebody might say certain units on their team need a fresh voice, but also stability is something every team is chasing. So depending on how you feel about this past Panthers season is how you feel about this. But, nobody has to find a new office, or everybody knows exactly where to go. Nobody has to ask where the bathrooms are, right? The entire coaching staff is essentially the same. And we'll see how aggressive they get in revamping the roster. But, every year, the first of OTAs or the first of rookie mini camps, first of training camp, right? You start square one, page one of the playbook, day one install. You might be able to fly through that if everybody is coming back like, yeah, we've done this. Let's get to graduate level stuff here. Come on. We know the signals. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and we'll continue to update you as we always do with NFL coaching news. There are a few local ties getting like Jets offensive coordinator interviews.
Yeah.
Frank Reich got an interview, obviously former head coach, and this past year for Stanford on a 1-year deal. And then Ronald Curry.
Yeah, former UNC basketball and football player.
Did the Knicks need an assistant coach? He could double up. He
could.
He could do a little bit of both.
Why not?
He could get Jalen Brunson in order, then walk over, get Garrett Wilson rolling, just go back and forth. It's possible. He's that kind of dude. But he got an offensive coordinator interview as well. And they're interviewing seemingly everybody. I don't know if they're getting turned down, but we'll see. That's the Big Three at 3 here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. I've been voicing my opinions on the trade market for the Panthers, for the Carolina Hurricanes quite a bit. So I'm turning it and putting it on Dennis when we come back. Stick around.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
Now, let's take a short break from our 8-hour ode to the oboe for a word from our sponsor, Mr. First Tuesday. Get your scratch-offs on the very first Tuesday. Looks like we've got a caller on the line.
How are you not more excited about new scratch-offs? There's millions in prizes.
Who is this?
Oh, this is Mr. First Tuesday. And by the way, it goes, get your scratch-offs on the very first Tuesday.
Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Low mortgage rates are back. Listen, Loan Pronto has fixed-rate mortgages with APRs as low as 4.89%, lowest in years. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Smart homeowners are taking advantage of this while they can. If you got stuck in a 6% loan, you can lower your payment big time. Or you can keep your primary mortgage intact and get cash out of your equity with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. One homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards and some car loans and cut their monthly expense by $2,000. Call now and see what option works best for you. But don't miss the big rate drop of 2026. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous Rapid Equity Loan. You can close in less than 2 weeks, and you may be able to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal with no hard credit pull. Call 919-381-1760 now, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Sent out in front to score! Andrei Svechnikov. He gets a bounce. And James Reimer is snake bitten on that, but it's a power play goal for Carolina, and it's 4-0.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The oops, thank you nature of that goal will always make me laugh. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. All right, everybody, listen up. At 4:45, we're going to do a feedback frenzy, which is where Dennis goes on to mostly our YouTube, but really all of our social medias. 99.9 The Fan. Look for us, follow us everywhere, subscribe, and grabs your comments, brings them on air. Also at 4:33, we're going to have first goal scorer predictions, where you can call in and you can make your first goal scorer predictions. Who's going to score the first goal for the Canes and in what period? And you can battle wits against all of the personalities we have here at 99.9 The Fan. There's also another way you can always interact with the show, and that's just with Dennis and I on social media, right? You send stuff to us. If it's a good part of the conversation, we may note it. We may bring it up. Over the last, 2 weeks-ish, maybe a little bit more, the trade conversation for the Carolina Hurricanes has picked up. And I have heard, right? I've seen the tweets. I've seen you tagging me in articles or other tweet threads. But I thought, I have all these names that people are throwing at me. I've made my opinions known on most of these guys, if not all of them. So instead of me rehashing things that I've said over the last 2 weeks, let's flip it on Dennis. It's a little trade, like in or out. Could be it could be a cop or drop. Are you in or are you out on attempting to trade? And I'll just say this, right, because I make a big point. You need to have both sides of the equation. Let's assume whatever the trade is fair, right?
Okay.
Because obviously you'd take all of them if you're fleecing the opponent, right? Like it's going to cost nothing, and you wouldn't want any of them if they're asking for 2 times value. So let's just assume they're all whatever in your mind is fair value. Would you be in or out on pursuing the trade? Okay.
All right.
9 that have all come from people out there. We'll start with one that we've heard a lot. Vincent Trocheck from the Rangers, former Kane. He has at least 1 point in a Whalers jersey on a Whalers night for the Canes. Are you in or out on Trocheck?
I'm so torn on this one because I'd be in on him if it were this season, and maybe just this season alone, and maybe next year. But you also have to factor in that there's 3 more years left on his contract, and it's not going to overall, like it's not going to age well. That's why, because then
Is he good enough to want to go? Like, does he put you over the top to go all in this year? Because you win a cup this year, you'll take.
Then it's 100% worth it.
You'll take two bad years at the end of a contract.
I could potentially see it because Jordan Staal has 1 more year left on his contract. Actually, I'll say in for this reason.
Right.
I'll say in for this reason. Actually, 2 reasons I'll give you. One, because it'll help you win right now. And he'll still be at a high enough level where he can still probably even play a number 2 center next year. But eventually, Jordan Staal's contract expires after next season, and he could slide into that third, quote-unquote, third-line center. I think that's actually a good thing, and like almost embrace a little bit of that role, not be asked to carry much offensively, but really be a solid defense. So I'll be in for it. I'll be in.
All right. I'm going to give you one that I don't think we've talked about on air yet, but it was suggested to me. Boone Jenner, Columbus.
Oh. I haven't thought about Boone Jenner.
I hadn't either, and it was sent over the day that we asked for like potential trade ideas. Somebody sent me, and the irony is, I think his name was Jim. I apologize if I get that wrong. It was an email. And he said, listen, I know you wanted both sides of the equation, right? You wanted to know what the cost was. He goes, but I don't have it. So would you be interested in Boone Jenner? And I was like, interesting. And I've kept it in my pocket until right now.
Boone Jenner, who is he with now? Is he with Columbus?
Columbus.
Let's see. Boone Jenner makes 3.75. He's in the final year of his contract. I'm trying to actually see what he's. I'm actually
32 years old. Born in 93.
What a youngin'. Born in the 90s. You're young.
He has this season, I'll give you some stats. 38 games played, 8 goals, 17 assists. Obviously, that's 25 points. Plus minus of 2, but he's playing for Columbus. That's kind of what you're looking at.
6'2", 204. You know what? I'd be in for it because he could potentially be like I don't know if he's a number 2 center, but I think he can still be an upgrade there on the bottom part of your lineup. And he also kills penalties as well. I know he's a left-handed center as well, but I'd be okay with it for this season. Bring some more size. 6'2", 203.
All right.
I'd be okay with that.
There's a subset of Canes fans that would just take anything that starts with a 6. Like if you're talking about size and you go, does it start with a 6? Does his weight start with a 2? Yes. What's his name? Like it's almost that kind of.
Who is he? I'll take him.
All right, let's go to another one. This one's been talked about more often. Actually, you know what? We're going to switch. I'm going to try to get a lot of positions. Let's go Jordan Binnington, goalie, St. Louis.
I'd be in on it.
Okay.
I'd be in on it because I think that he can be an upgrade over Frederick Anderson. And as much as Binnington has been given flack about his play in the regular season, when it's like Four Nations, he was fantastic, and he's won a cup. He's done it as the number 1 goalie. Both those things as the number 1 goalie. I'd be okay with Binnington.
All right. Keep it rolling. Another guy that gets talked about a lot. Let's go Elias Pettersson, Vancouver.
That's a heavy cost.
Yep.
That's because he makes $11.6 million. He's locked up long term. He's 26 years old. If you're going to go get a number 1/number 2 center,
Some think he's like the Great White Buffalo. Like this is who they've been chasing for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's just the one that keeps getting away. The fish that keeps, grabbing the bait and wriggling free before you can get him in the boat.
It's the white whale, Moby Dick.
There you go.
It's what it is. It's a hefty price. I don't know if he's physical enough. I don't know if he's physical enough. If it happens, I'll be excited. But at the same time, I'm not like, it's not the guy I probably would go after. So I would say no.
All right, let me try to guess the guy you would go after.
I don't hate it, but I'd lean towards no.
We're through 4. I have 10. We'll see how many we can get through.
Me.
Robert Thomas, St. Louis.
I mean, I'm in. I'll be in on it.
All right.
He kills penalties,
talk about
top
cost.
2 center.
Talk about cost. It won't be cheap.
No, it won't be cheap at all. But more of a bigger body guy can kill penalties as well. Looking at number 2 center, I'd take that.
Panarin, over there from the Rangers. I'm assuming that's out. You're saying yes.
I'll take Panarin.
I thought you threw up in your mouth a little there.
No, because I'm like, that's going to cost a lot. But at the same time, it's a 1-year rental. I'd be willing to go all in on it for this year.
Would you do it with the hope that you re-sign, or is it true like, hey, business relationship right here, rent your home and we'll hopefully get a cup, we'll be happy, and we can go our separate ways?
I wouldn't. Depends on how long the extension is.
Okay.
But here's the thing about with Panarin. He has a full no-move clause. Mm-hmm. Full no-move clause. He's actually not playing today because I think they're actually going to protect him up until the roster freeze. So he's not going to play today. And then
they wrote a letter to their fans saying, like, we're going to move guys. They didn't say it like that, but it's kind of what I took from it.
But his full no-move clause means he can choose anybody. So he has to say yes on any trade. So if he says yes to come here, it means he's buying in to play here. That's why I'd say yes on it.
All right. Dougie Hamilton.
No.
All
pass.
right.
Thank you. We've had that.
All right. Just rolling through them.
Keep that moving, please.
Ryan O'Reilly, Nashville.
No.
All right.
No. He's not the Ryan O'Reilly of 2018. 2018's Ryan O'Reilly at 100% take, not this version.
All right. I have 2 more. Let's roll with I think this one's a more difficult decision. Shane Wright, Seattle.
Shane Wright from Seattle.
Young guy, I believe highly drafted. Shown flashes, but not probably enough. It would be a true, the way I see it at least,
because he's a younger guy,
super young.
Yeah.
But it would be a true like, hey, this guy has potential, and he needs a change of scenery move, and the Canes would be betting on themselves to get more out of him than Seattle has. And perhaps it could be like a trade a problem for a problem and send Kotkaniemi that way, and Wright this way, where it's like, neither of these guys are being used or given the chance that they should. So try a little problem.
For a long-term projection, I'd be okay with it.
Okay.
Right-handed center, again, he's on an entry-level contract for 1 more year.
Mm-hmm.
I would 100% be okay with that, because if it doesn't work out, you could still move him down to Chicago right now if you want to. So I'd be okay with that.
Jason Robertson, Dallas.
Oh, yeah, keep it moving. Let's go.
Even with a fair price, because a fair price for him is boatloads.
I mean, yeah.
And he doesn't play center.
I know he doesn't play center,
but
smaller. The dude is he's 6'3", 206.
I keep saying that. I don't know why I think he's small.
You're probably thinking of his brother.
No, it's because he's quick and he moves like a smaller guy.
His brother's small. I think his brother plays from Montreal.
He's not good enough to be a Team USA Olympian.
That's okay.
Doesn't get hurt. There you go. So that was 7 yeses. You're in the mood to deal. You're a wheeler and dealer. 7 out of 10 said, yeah, I'm in. And to be completely honest, Dougie Hamilton, although he keeps getting suggested to me, that's
no. We've had Dougie Hamilton here before. No, thank you.
So of the 9 legit questions, you went 7 yeses.
Yeah. Like Shane Wright, I'll say yes to it just because it's a flyer.
Yeah. Cost low, but it's fair cost. Like you're not fleecing anybody in our hypotheticals here. So Pedersen and O'Reilly were the only 2 you said no to.
I thought I said no to someone else.
Binnington, you said yes. Wright, yes. Panarin, yes. Robertson, yes. Jenner, yes. Thomas, yes. And Trocheck, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Trocheck, you kind of you
I hemmed and
wheeled
and
dealed a little bit, but yeah. I mean, and by the way, I'm not saying they're bad decisions. I think a lot of Canes fans, like those moves at the deadline to try to go all in. I'm not hating you at all. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Something else I'm not hating. Matter of fact, I'm loving Bailey's Fine Jewelry. and specifically the Fox and Bailey watch shop located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Here's a fun fact that if you watch the Olympics, you might already know. Omega is the official timekeeper of the Olympic Games and has been for almost a century, going back to 1932, a role that they have earned through unmatched precision, innovation, and reliability under the most extreme conditions. So if you are keeping score at home, yes, Omega has been chosen by NASA to be the timekeeper for spacewalks, and it's been on the moon more than any other watch, and it's also been chosen by the Olympics to keep time where every thousandth of a second could decide gold medals. It's pretty good, and you can take all that innovation and engineering and history, put it right on your watch, or right on your wrist, I should say, with a Seamaster, a DeVille, Globe Master, a chronograph like a Speed Master if you're racing or want to have that moon watch, legendary iconic look on your wrist. That's in the Omega Boutique. On the other side, they have the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, and on February 12th, they're hosting an Olympic Omega hockey watch party in that Fox and Bailey Watch Shop. It's from 3 to 6, same time as this show, so make sure you also catch this show. You know it's cool if I'm telling you about it, and it runs during the time of this show. So go ahead and check it out. Olympic hockey, Omega watches, Fox and Bailey Watch Shop. Have a drink, listen to some music, enjoy the people, and let them know when you go to the Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location in Raleigh, which is where the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop is. Let them know that you heard about it from me, Tim, right here on 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break. When we come back, Dean's List time. You don't want to miss it. Stick around.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling. Just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Rain on game day doesn't faze Dave. He's already got his poncho. Just needs to do something about those wipers. So Dave heads to AutoZone,
Welcome to AutoZone.
where a friendly AutoZoner helps him get premium quiet wipers and some hand warmers.
You're all set.
Now, if only his team can handle the elements as well as his new wipers. Get wipers, glass cleaner, and more with no hassles, just help at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
120, finds Abel, sends it up, not there, but Lubin does! Hammer time, Big Ben Allen, 83-62, NC State's blown it open.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Tonight, you can hear the Whalers game right here on 99.9 The Fan. Canes game. They're hosting the Utah Mammoth. This is one of those real time travel games. The Mammoth have been around for 20 minutes in hockey terms. Whalers haven't been around in decades, and they're going to play tonight, which is kind of cool. You can also tune in at 7 o'clock puck drop. You can hear here 99.9 The Fan. Storm Watch half hour before will be hosted by our very own Dennis Cox today. So,
That's me.
There you go. So you caught up with Rod, caught up with Tripp. Going to do the whole breakdown to make sure everybody's ready to roll.
Talked a little bit with Shane Gostis. I'm not Shane Gostis here. With Sean Walker as well as Jalen Chatfield.
So you hear all that insight during Storm Watch tonight with Dennis sitting in for Adam. And then stick around for the game and aftermath and all that sort of stuff. In the meantime, right here on 99.9 The Fan, it is, as it always is, just after 3:30. It's time for the Dean's List. Dean's List, where we highlight those in the college sports world that we hold so near and dear here in the Triangle. I'm going to start with one that maybe you all will not see at first, but come along with me on this journey. I'm putting Bill Belichick on the Dean's list.
Okay.
Somehow, and I didn't think this was possible. This is a big come from behind, little take the lead here. Somehow, the Pro Football Hall of Fame got the sports world to rally around Bill Belichick after a pretty rough PR year for Bill Belichick, right? For about 11 months. It's just been jokes, memes about his girlfriend, jokes, the team's not playing well, the portal, all of this stuff. And then the Pro Football Hall of Fame didn't put him in the Hall of Fame as a first ballot, and everyone that made all those jokes got real serious and was like, no, listen, Bill Belichick was a really good coach for a really long time, and he needs to be in the Hall of Fame. And it turned him into like this bullied underdog when he was the 6th Super Bowl winning head coach that we all laughed at for a little bit. So credit to him for just, not doing anything but somehow getting a PR victory. Little Dean's Lister for old Billy Belichick. Do you have some Dean's Listers you'd like to throw out here?
I'll throw Ronald Curry.
Oh, nice.
Former UNC basketball guard as well as former UNC quarterback, was actually a wide receiver in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Played, I think it was 7, 8 seasons in the NFL?
I remember him on that Raiders squad. That's the. I don't know how many years he was there, but it was memorable.
It's like, I think it was 01 to 08, something along those lines. But about 8-9 year career in the NFL, interviewing for the offensive coordinator job with the New York Jets. He was the quarterback's coach for the Bills this past year.
I hosted a show in Virginia Beach for a while, which is the Hampton Roads area is where Ronald Curry's from.
Yep.
And I mean, there are some stories about how incredible an athlete that guy is, that they're either like Paul Bunyan-esque in that every time they tell the story, he gets like another 1/10 of a second faster in his 40, and the 25-point basketball game becomes a 35, 45, or he's the most incredible athlete in the history of the world. So either there's a little bit of numbers fudging by people that were there and want to be, hyping him up, or that guy's ridiculous. I think it's probably a little bit of both. But he's, probably deserving. He's been kicking around as a coach for a while now. Probably ready to start. I don't know if he'll get this job, but start interviewing for those and getting the next opportunity.
I grew up right by the University of Virginia, so he initially was committed to play at UVA because, again, he was a two-sport athlete. I know he was leaning towards, if I remember correctly, Virginia football, but UNC basketball, so there's kind of like a split there. But initially was committed to UVA, then eventually flipped over to UNC. So UVA fans hated the guy because, wait a second, you're from the state of Virginia. Why are you going down to North Carolina? It's one of our big rivals. So, and I remember UVA fans did not like him, and probably still don't like him to this day.
They got Aaron Brooks. It was okay.
It worked out well with him, actually.
Him, like if you talk to some people, they would say he's a better basketball player than like Allen Iverson, a better quarterback than Michael Vick, and when they were in that area around the same time. Is that crazy? Back to the Dean's list. By the way, it's probably a little hyperbole. Those other two guys are pretty good at what they do. Back to the Dean's list. Just because we put him on the Dean's list a few times, and I want to kind of put a bow on the story. Charlie Serrato, he is a Canes draft pick, Canes prospect, and he's been playing his college hockey for Penn State. Done for the year with an injury. They said he's done for the regular season with an injury.
Yeah, I saw that. Finished
19 games, 6 goals, 18 assists. So 24 points in 19 games. Pretty good. And obviously Penn State, they spent a bunch in NIL. They were gearing up for it. I guess there's an outside chance he could play in some postseason if they stay alive long enough. But bummer for him, but solid season. I'm sure the Canes are pleased with his development. More. We talked about this a bit yesterday, but I want to highlight it even more. Brian Parker II, Duke football player who wrapped up his Shrine Bowl performance yesterday, right? He's going pro, trying to make a career out of it, although I guess you can do that in college too now. But at the Shrine Bowl, he worked at center. He's been a tackle at Duke for his entire career, started a whole bunch of games, graded out exceptionally high. I think it's a smart move, even if he, in his heart of hearts wants to play tackle. Right? Once you get in a building, you can convince him you're good at anything. But you got to get in the building first, and I think he is a more natural prospect at center and could increase his draft possibilities and then or at least give teams a safety net. You hear this, who was it? There was a tackle in this most recent draft. Perhaps Membu from ended up going to the Jets out of Missouri. But it was kind of like he's a really good tackle, and if it doesn't work out, you can easily kick him in, and he'll be a great guard. He'll be an all-pro guard. And it's like, oh, that just gives, busts that don't play or don't sign second contracts get GMs fired. So if you say, like, we're drafting him to be a tackle, but at worst we can move him inside and play an interior O-line and he'll get a bunch of starts, that's like, at least I won't lose my job, even if I get this one wrong. So playing it at center, smart move for Brian Parker II, and could lead to a long NFL career. A few more Dean's Listers here. I'm just going to throw Triangle College basketball. In the last 11 days, Duke, UNC, and State are 7-0 with 3 wins against ranked opponents, 1 each. And they're winning by a decent amount aside from the games against the other ranked opponents. Like they're winning by 9, 10, 12, 30 in the games they should win by 9, 10, 12, 30. And they're winning the close games enough, executing enough down the stretch to win those. So, when I've said it a billion times, I think the ACC basketball world feels more normal when there's 8 to 10 teams competing for an NCAA tournament spot and getting one, and B, when the best basketball has to come through the triangle, when you're headed for a tough game when you play any of them, because it just makes everything better. So last 11 days at least that's been true. And I guess along those lines, Con Knippel, former Duke, one and done, playing for
the Charlotte Hornets.
Fastest player in NBA history to hit 150 career threes.
Really?
That's. I mean, granted, like times are changing, right? Steph Curry didn't grow up in a league that Steph Curry had changed.
That's true.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He had to go convince people it was smart to shoot 1 million threes, but Knippel's shooting a super high percentage. It's not even. His shooting is getting to the point. I'm not saying it's there yet. Getting to the point where you take the for a rookie qualifier off and you just go like, he's got the 4th most made threes in the league, right? Like I'm pretty sure that's true, but he's in that conversation. I don't know what like last night's games impacted, but it's almost time to just stop putting him like the for a rookie stats and just when it comes to him shooting the basketball, just say for an NBA player, which. I don't think a ton of people were expecting this much of a explosion at least when he got to Duke. Maybe when he was drafted 4th overall, but he didn't come in with the Cooper Flag hype. That's the Dean's List here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We do that just about every day to make sure we're covering every positive bit of news. Everybody covers the negative. Everybody yells and screams. I should actually start using that as a rebuttal. People you're always complaining. You're never happy. Tune in at 3:30, and all I do is praise and praise for the Dean's List. Build in some optimism, some mandatory optimism. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have a cool guest coming up next. I'll tell you who that is right after you hear from Dennis Cox.
That's right. Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Law Tigers. I know a lot of people enjoy winning, and I want everyone to have the opportunity to win, so I need you to pay attention. Again, Dennis Cox here for my good friends over at Law Tigers. The Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky fan a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle, courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Again, a custom Canes motorcycle goes out to one lucky person. All the way you got to enter, caniacsbike.com. That's the only way you can enter to win a custom Canes motorcycle. Again, courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. The date to enter by is it's 2 months from today. It's March 29th. But don't wait till then. Do it now. Go to caniacsbike.com. Enter for your chance to win. The bike will be given away live on April 4th at the game, and it includes tickets and a catered suite. I mean, tickets and a catered suite is pretty awesome in and of itself, but imagine pulling away from that game and a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle that could be all yours. Just go to caniacsbike.com. I want everyone to have a chance to win, so go enter. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And if you enter and you win and you don't want the bike, you could just give it to me. I will accept it on your behalf. Just saying. caniacsbike.com to enter. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will be back with a conversation from earlier today with Wallace Clark, the head coach of Heritage High School, who was the defensive coordinator when Seattle Seahawks starting linebacker Drake Thomas was patrolling the defense for Heritage. So stick around. Wallace Clark talks about his old linebacking leader, there you go, a little alliteration, taking his Seahawks to the Super Bowl. Stick around.
When it comes to your roof, it's all about quality above with peace of mind below. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. We're proud to be in our 20th year helping families and businesses keep the roof over their heads as economically as possible. We work on every type of roof, gutters, and skylights with quality repairs, maintenance, and replacements for your home, your business, and multifamily. We offer warranties with every new roof and financing options for homeowners, and we're now serving Southern Pines as well. Visit us to learn more at roofwerks.com.
This is the sound of Lucy, staying on top of her spending. You see, even though she's buying a new pair of jeans, she knows that it fits within her monthly budget. Because Wells Fargo will send an alert if her balance drops below her set amount. Yep, nothing gets past Lucy, or Wells Fargo for that matter. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Pondering prizes with Cash Pop? Why pick just one pop when you can pick as many pops as you please? Up to 15. Picture this. You pick your pop, perhaps a powerful 7. Now pick more pops like a proud 9, a pristine 15, a perfect 10. Each pop propagates more potential to pack your pockets with prizes up to $2,500. So prepare for a peppering of prizes with Cash Pop from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Cash Pop. Play more pops. Win more prizes. Must be 18 to play. See Cash Pop prize and odds charts at nclottery.com. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Canes hockey is back. Grab an ice cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your Canes. Only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles, so easy to sip and enjoy. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside. Official hard tea and lemonade of the Carolina Hurricanes. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome back into The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We are now joined on the Heister Automotive Group hotline by Wallace Clark, Heritage High School head football coach. Although we're going to ask him to dive down memory lane a little bit to his time as defensive coordinator when he was coaching a player that is one of the main characters for the Seattle Seahawks defense going into the Super Bowl. We're talking Drake Thomas here. Coach, first of all, thank you very much for the time. Let's start with the question every high school coach is asked when they coach some of these future stars.
Yes, sir.
At what point did you know he was different? At what point did you look to your assistant and go, "Oh, this Drake Thomas guy, he's got something"?
Well, first day of practice, pretty much. Kind of heard about him when he was at the middle school, and also he was our ball boy, grades 7 and 8. Of course, his older brother was playing with us at the time there, and just one of those moments when he got to our practice, and you kind of see the way he flew around, and just knowing the game, the intellect and understanding how to make plays. So that was a bright spot for us here at the high school.
We're talking with Wallace Clark, Heritage High School head coach here on The Drive. Heritage High School hasn't been around for forever and ever, but it's cranked out a ton of players that even the casual football fan in the area would know. How does Drake maybe differentiate or stand out from some other guys that have gone on to great college careers and all the way to the pros?
Well, I'll speak from the defense aspect of the ball, from the side of the ball. He actually just kind of knew how to get to the football, and then having a football IQ like that, and then the physicality and the speed that he played with, kind of made him stand out. You said it best that several players came through Heritage High School, with a lot of the same type of physicality and the same type of knowledge about the game, and those guys stood out as well. So some of the things I could say, his work ethic every day, putting the time in, say weight room, film study, kind of made him propel himself above the rest,
I do, and we actually talked with Thayer the other day, kind of about their journeys and everything through high school, state, and to the pros. And one of the things he mentioned was, it was obvious that Drake was a particular type of athlete early on, but the one thing, if there is something that kind of held back the hype, it was he's not the biggest guy in the world, right? Maybe short arms, a little shorter. Maybe from a more technical standpoint, how does he overcome that now that he's playing, at the NFL level where everyone's a modern giant?
Well, I'd say, especially a guy like him, once again, is just knowing the game. He played on the offensive side of the ball, and I think he had an opportunity to experience how the offensive guys think and some of the plays that are developing on that side of the ball, which kind of put him above some of the rest. When you have that knowledge and understanding, exactly technique to get you to the football in a quick way, and he showed that pretty much throughout the course of his high school career. And then you go back and just take a quick look at his college career, same difference, and just take a lot of knowledge to kind of play that spot anyways. He's kind of added to the box, and also he got to play outside the box. So, that's some of the good things I could say that he have over some guys that are a little bit longer arms and taller, just his knowledge of the game.
That's the voice of Wallace Clark, Heritage High School head coach, joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. He was the defensive coordinator when Drake Thomas, who's now starting for the Seahawks heading into the Super Bowl, was patrolling the defense for Heritage. Coach, the first 2 years of his college career, right? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but based on everything you've said, it seems pretty obvious that you'd be, rooting and hoping for a kid like Drake to go on and live all his dreams. And he leaves early from state with a ton of accolades. And his first 2 years, special teams a little bit. I think it's 16 total tackles. And then he breaks out this year with huge stats. But what were those first 2 years like for you, watching a player who you just want the best for, maybe not get the opportunity or deal with injuries and not really be able to shine?
No, it was exciting. I kind of go back to, this moment. And for me, it's just pretty much how a lot of that got started, with his family, just instilling certain things in those young men on and off the field. It's kind of testimony to all three of those young men, of how they kind of go about each and every day, and they're perfecting their craft, and putting a lot of work into some of the things that they have a passion about, and I see some of those things continue to reflect him in college and also today, So once again, I'm excited for his family, and I'm excited for Drake as well to make it to that point, knowing that as you put the work in and, continue to stay humble and do all the right things, things like this can happen,
Are you? And I'm only half joking with this question. Are you just waiting for the next generation of Thomases because they've been good to Heritage High School?
Well, look, the baby just left about I think he left 2 years ago, and he was over at NC State as a QB. So now I guess I have to wait for all the grandkids to come along.
Hey, I mean, it worked 3 times for you. I don't see why you wanted to stop there. Let's talk this year for Drake. I have the stats here in front of me. I'll just remind everybody, right? He's playing for Seattle. They're one of the top teams in the league. He has 96 tackles. This is regular season stats, 3.5 sacks, an interception, and a forced fumble. As I said, right, coming into the year, just 16 tackles in his first 2 years combined. As a coach, are you communicating with him? Are you sending him the that's what to do text, or is it still even a hey, that pulling guard, you should have recognized that? What's the message if you're going to your guy who's lighting it up in the league?
Well, not really that. It's just the opposite. He should be telling me all these things, how to coach get these young men to be at his level. And I'm being sincere about that. It's not to say it's not my place or anything like that, but once those young men reach that level, it's their life, it's their opportunity to kind of continue to produce. And I'll just say it was just one little baby step here at Heritage High School. But when you think at the collegiate level and what Coach Doran has been doing over there with these guys and their position coaches, I think that's when all the intellect come in as far as the knowledge and how to play faster. You know, we were just more or less like the backyard playground for him in a sense, you know, because he knew more than a lot of us on staff, you know. So he helped me better to become a better coach myself, you know, just kind of learning and understanding some of the things that he pointed out to me.
So along that storyline, and we are talking with Wallace Clark, Heritage High School head coach, was Drake Thomas is at the Seattle Seahawks, heading to the Super Bowl's defensive coordinator when he was in the area. Along those same lines, if you're talking to your team today, what's one thing maybe you tell them about Drake Thomas? Because everybody, right, I was a high school football player. Every high school football player in the history of the world wants to be sitting where Drake Thomas is sitting now. What's one thing you tell them about him that, you know, if you want to get there, this is what you have to mimic?
Well, being the right type of teammate, you know, sometimes, especially at the high school level, you know, some of these kids or players don't truly know how to be the correct teammate. You know, you could be pretty talented and really knowledgeable, but how are you as a team, you know, a teammate? So I think that's the most important thing, and that's what he put on display, you know. At practice, he kind of let everyone know that he was a leader, vocal leader, and also he kind of stepped up to the plate and showed that he was a leader. And he carried his teammates along with him. So that's a positive thing, I think. And you know, he continued to put that on display at NC State. And also he continued to put that on display with the Seattle Seahawks as of currently, you know, just being an overall good player, good teammate, and, you know, just following the protocol.
This will be the last question, and thank you for your time again. But
yes, sir, no problem.
When we talk about quarterback, right? You talk about wide receiver, you talk about linebacker. The siblings, the Thomas siblings aren't exactly, you know, competing for stats or whatever, right, in their own lanes. So I'm going to put it in a different category for you, right? A family that meant so much to your program. Obviously, you know, records and everything show that. If we're doing like one-on-one basketball, how do you think that goes if you line up the three Thomases and you know, you're the ref or whatever, and you got to make the prediction?
Oh, wow. Well, I would say this. Drake probably need to go back and spend more time on shooting some free throws. Cause look, there seemed like he didn't know how to leave the you know, the court. He was there every morning shooting up shots and things of that nature. And then next thing you know, he find himself in the batting cage. I was like, man, this kid never stops, you know. Then of course Lex, the younger brother, he seemed like he didn't want those guys to outdo him. So I think Drake would have to get back on the court and, you know, and see if he could make some free throws or shoot some threes.
That is exactly what the older and younger brother wanted to hear. Wallace, we appreciate you for taking the time to talk with us. Enjoy the ride, right? Enjoy rooting for your guy in the Super Bowl, and good luck with Heritage.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Go Huskies.
Once again, Wallace Clark, head coach from earlier today of Heritage High School, talking all about their own product, Drake Thomas playing in the Super Bowl, and kind of when he knew it first, right? First day of practice. Some guys just pop off the screen. But I do like to say this, or I do want to point this out. Conversation that you just heard from Wallace Clark. And we talked with his brother, Thayer Thomas, yesterday. Both of them singled out, like, oh, you know, from a very young age, physically he was different, right? You could see it, bigger, stronger, faster, whatever. But when we asked both Thayer and Coach Clark, who was, you know, his defensive coordinator in high school, what separates them, they didn't go to like, oh, he's stronger than everybody. They went to knowledge of the game. They went to understanding, diagnosing, and you know, making the smart play. So they're, you know, talk about a coach. Probably some lesson there for the next generation. No matter how big, strong, fast you are, the most impressive thing better be what you're doing between the ears. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4. Up next. Don't go anywhere.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $6.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $6.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, and there's no time like now to stop what you're doing and join with the K-Yow Cancer Fund in the fight against all cancers affecting women. I'm Jenny Palmetier, CEO of the K-Yow Cancer Fund. From now through January 31st, Triangle Area Bojangles will donate all proceeds from Bowberry biscuit sales to the K-Yow Cancer Fund. Just buy a Bowberry, do some good, and get something good. So what are you waiting for? Hurry, it's bow time.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's a sunny afternoon, but breezy and chilly with a high of just 37 and feeling more like 20s. We'll be down into the low 20s overnight tonight under clear skies, and we barely make it above freezing tomorrow with a high of 35. Expect increasing clouds and snow to begin on Friday night and last through Saturday. We have a new winter storm watch, and we could see as much as 3 or more inches across our area.
This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers before you call your insurance company at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 30 points to 49,046.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are nearing the end of our position-by-position look at the Carolina Panthers roster. A few more to go, and we're about to dive into what might be the best position for the Carolina Panthers. But I do want to remind everybody, 4:33, about a half hour from now, we'll be taking first goal scorer predictions. So if you haven't done so already, start thinking about who's going to score the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes tonight, or should I say the Whalers tonight, as they take on Utah, and also think about what period that first goal will be scored. If you get both right, we'll give you all the love and bragging rights that you deserve. You get to test your wits against us and everybody at 99.9 The Fan and all the other listeners as well. In addition to that, we do have a feedback frenzy coming up at 4:45, so probably nearing the end of when your comments can be identified and brought on air. So do that now or wait for the next one. I think that's all the housekeeping. So let's jump into football at 4 as promised. Today we're talking interior defensive line. Now, I know we didn't divide up offensive line into interior and tackle, but edge rusher and interior defensive line, to me, are just they're not even the same species, right? They're completely different. Yeah. So it makes more sense to divide up defensive line, even though we didn't do it for offensive line. And interior defensive line builds into the conversation we had about offensive line, which is the guards are the strength of the offensive line, and you could argue the guards are the strength of the offense for the Carolina Panthers. And if you look at the defense, they built the same way. If there's one thing that is very obvious that Dan Morgan, Brant Tillis, and that front office believe in, is the closer you are to the football before it's snapped, the better you better be. I gave the interior defensive line, meaning non-edge rushers defensive line, 85 out of 100. 85 out of 100. And there's one specific way that I think that could jump, and I don't think the front office has to do a ton. Okay, the main characters that are still under contract moving forward, Derek Brown, pretty good. Turk Wharton, one of their big free agent acquisitions last offseason. A'Shawn Robinson, and a draft pick from a year ago, Cam Jackson. That's kind of the core of it.
Did you say Bobby Brown III?
I did not.
Yeah, Bobby Brown III. He signed a 3-year deal
There
last
you go.
offseason.
Bobby Brown III, another big dude, more nose tackly, whatever you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the main characters. Strength of the team. One of the, if not the strength of the team, and has to remain a strength of the team. And to do that, I don't think they have to do much this offseason, other than keep those guys happy and work on keeping them healthy. That's it. Derek Brown, ready for this stat? This is one of my favorite stats about Derek Brown, of which there are plenty, right? He had 100 tackles in a season as an interior defensive lineman. I have no idea how that isn't your favorite stat, but it's not for me. He plays 77% of defensive snaps on average. 77 for a dude his size is insane. The fact that he's not asked to come off the field on a particular down, or that he's not tapping his helmet saying, I need a breather significantly more than that is crazy. That is the third highest percentage out of all defensive tackles in the NFL. Jeffrey Simmons and Jalen Carter are the only two above him. And, yeah, those guys are pretty good too. So Jeffrey Simmons is, Titans significantly their best player. And Jalen Carter is, out of Georgia, drafted to the Eagles, whole situation there. But the talent has never been questioned. Derek Brown plays the third most snaps, essentially, of defensive tackles in the NFL. So assuming he is healthy, I'm not sure how much more you want to spend at the position than what they're already spending, because I don't want to have money tell me I have to take Derek Brown off the field more, right? Hey, we're paying another guy $10 million a year. Better find reps for him. Derek, you're only going to play 60. I'm going, no, I want Derek Brown out there for 77% of the snaps if he's proven that's what he can be effective on, or more. So where, you heard me say it. There's one specific way I think this team can get better, in addition to staying healthy. I think Turk Wharton needs to be better. And I think that's just an individual playing better, right? That's not necessarily, a front office move. It's not like so many other positions where, if you want your wide receiver to play well, you might have to improve quarterback, right? If you want your running back to play well, you might have to go spend on offensive line. Like Turk Wharton, I think you're just looking at the dude and saying, I need more.
Yeah, he had a lingering hamstring injury, he had a toe injury and stuff. He only played 9 games this season, and there are a couple of games he left and didn't return.
And
that's what slowed him down much of the season, was just injuries.
And I literally have in my notes, I know he was hurt a few times, but I think if you isolated the few games that he started and finished and watched the tape, you would still walk away going, 4 years, $45 million, 30 guaranteed. I need to see that money on the field more, right? When you spend that much money, you need to see it. You need to have more production. What was it, 2 sacks? But the amount of total tackles, the amount of pressures, it needs to be a more drive in and drive out. Like every single drive, you need to notice him. Or at least, a couple times a quarter. You need to notice him. You can't watch halves of football and go, wait, is Wharton back this game or is he still hurt? He is back? He did play? Okay, yeah, I'll look for him in the second half. Like it has to be he's popping more.
I think he was playing a little out of position, personally,
Okay.
because Evero had him starting as a nose tackle. I don't think he's built to play, hey, I got to go in a one technique against a center and guard. He's built more to be going up against like in a 3-4-eye technique is what I think he's better built to be. I just think he was also playing out of position, too. I think it's also a byproduct of Bobby Brown III not being that nose tackle that they anticipated him being when they signed him, too.
So perhaps, looking to be a solutions guy, not a problems guy. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'd have to go see where he was lining up most of the time. Perhaps Cam Jackson is a guy that could
potentially,
if he develops, right, last year, rookie mid-round pick, this year, second year, perhaps, more trusted. We all have our issues with how particularly on defense. Young guys not often trusted by this coaching staff for the Panthers. Perhaps in a second year, Cam Jackson can slide in, take more of those snaps, and maybe Wharton can get moved out, which actually would play into, I always look back on what we were promised, right? When a player is drafted, I'm like, what were we promised? What was the trait that got him drafted when he was drafted? Free agents. When Wharton was signed, what were the things that were highlighted to get us excited? For Wharton, it was two things that I recall, and this is just pure recall. I didn't go back in my notes or anything. One was he's coming from the Chiefs, so he knows how to win. He's played in big games, Super Bowl rings to show for it. Right, the Panthers were a team that didn't have a ton of guys that have, reached the mountaintop, and he was bringing some of that Super Bowl glow. Two was like, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Dennis, it was like his body fat, right? It was this dude he had tree trunks for legs, and he carried his weight well, and he's whatever 300 pounds, however much he was, and you could see his abs, right? It was this dude is an athlete for a big guy, which traditionally you don't see a lot at like true nose, right? True nose are usually the guys who, they look like rolling planets, right?
They eat up space.
Yeah, they're big dudes. They anchor down. If you have like a legit size athlete, you probably do want to get him in, out on a 3 technique or whatever, where you can use that athleticism in. You're not gonna put him in space, but a little bit more space than the rugby scrum that is right on top of the football. So there's something there. Maybe, right? Maybe it's not just what I said, looking at him and saying, I need you to play better. Maybe there is we were misusing you. We need to put you in better situations. But that's a coaching staff thing, right? That's not a front office thing unless Evero, Dave Canales are going to Dan Morgan and saying, we know we played Turk out of position. We didn't have anyone that could do X, Y, and Z, so we had to play him there. In which case, then Dan Morgan has to go find some adequate, more traditional nose style skill sets. But that's not usually the most expensive thing out there on the market. You can usually find those giant anchors for a decent price. But that's part of it. I'll have to go back and look, but it's a good point if it's made. And then just lastly, this is the last point I'll make on interior defensive line because I think they're good. I think they're a strength and need to be a strength, and they need to stay healthy. So, I don't know, stretch more in the offseason, get pliable. I don't know, go talk to Tom Brady. Depth at that position is always welcome, right? You can never have too many. I think that's very far down the list of priorities. So it's almost like if it falls into your lap, right? I would not use a first-round pick unless it's a guy that you have like the 5th overall grade on and he falls to 19 and it's just, sure, why not? Let's grab this difference maker. I would not go pursuing it in free agency unless, an agent reaches out and says he's willing to take X, Y, and Z, and it's a deal that's too good to pass up. I'd be surprised if they do too much to help out in this position in the offseason. Not to say they won't do anything because depth is always welcome, but if we look at the end of the offseason, and that's what this whole exercise is about. We're giving these grades, and we're going to revisit them at the end of the offseason. If the amount of money spent on interior defensive line is equal or more to edge rusher or offensive line or a few of these others, I will look and go, well, I love that you made your strength stronger, but at what cost, right? This is a salary-capped sport. If this were baseball, hey, go for it, right? So spend $40 million on the interior, spend $40 million on the edge rushers, spend 40. If you want to go full Dodgers in baseball, go nuts. But in a salary cap sport, even with a salary cap that feels fake like the NFL, I still would like to know the opportunity cost of making a strength stronger. 85 out of 100, if Turk Wharton plays better, could easily be into the 90s. If you add a little bit of depth, you get more out of Cam Jackson, who knows how high the ceiling could go. You get more out of Bobby Brown, whoever it is, and you're able to move Turk, who knows how high that ceiling could go.
I have a question for you.
I would love to answer it.
What do you do with A'Shawn Robinson? He has a $3 million guarantee kick-in at March 15th for this upcoming season. He has a cap hit, $12.5 million. If you let him go, you save $10.5 million against your salary cap.
You save 10
You
and
could
a half.
extend them potentially, and then
You
if you do extend them, you can actually save as much as basically $6.75 million, depending on how far you extend them. But again, you're also pushing money further down the line. He's going to be 31 this upcoming season. That's the big question this offseason. What do you do with A'Shawn Robinson?
It's a good question, and he hasn't been productive enough based on how much you're paying him as well. It's tough. I like A'Shawn Robinson. I like his attitude. I like that he's a bit feared in the league. I think a big part of that comes down to how he's safe. I'll put it that way. When healthy, he's safe.
Played all 17 games this past season.
And he was getting after the quarterback a little bit more than you would think a player, given his opportunities, would do, which can't be said about most people on the Panthers. He's safe. So if they think it's a deep draft, if they think it's a really good free agency class and some guys might be cheap, maybe you're willing to move on. It's almost more than a Dan Morgan question. It's a Brant Tillis question. Like you need to know the market. You need to know who else is out there and how do you view them analytically. I don't have a problem with bringing him back, especially how much is guaranteed prior to the trigger on March 3rd or whatever.
0.
Ooh. So you get $10 million back and you don't have any dead money?
So yeah, you would have $2.5 million
that's
dead
not
cap.
much.
That's nothing.
That's tempting.
Or it's a $2 million dead cap hit, but you save 10.5.
That's tempting to have a $10 million little slush fund.
He was 5th on the team in tackles with 65, 5th in sacks at 2.5, 3rd in quarterback pressures with 12, all while playing the second most snaps on the defensive line at 62.2%, only behind Derek Brown. He was available and he was productive.
And he's just turned 30, or at 30, almost 31, maybe. I'm probably not moving on from him unless Brant Tillis comes to me and says, deep draft, we'll get a guy, 3/4 as good for 1/4 the cost, or the free agency class is crazy deep. Like there would have to be some kind of assurance that you're not going to desperately miss him. Because I like the way he plays, and I think he's safe and high floor. And I don't know how many guys on that defense are high floor right now.
Led the team in sacks 2 years ago, 5.5.
By the way, the only reason I'm even considering moving on from him is because $10 million is a lot.
Yeah.
And saving that is a considerable amount. And actually, I read this recently. This is a side conversation, but it plays into the cap. Making the playoffs and how well they played ended up costing them a decent amount of cap this upcoming year because they had a decent amount of incentives that were called unlikely to hit incentives. I think that was the acronym, or less likely to hit, low likelihood of hitting, something like that. Which basically, if you have an incentive in a contract for a guy that has thrown, 2,000 yards for 10 straight years, and you have an incentive that says if he throws for 2,000 yards, he gets X amount of dollars, that's called likely to hit, and that will count against that year's cap because it's like he's going to hit it. Don't try to circumnavigate. If you have an unlikely to hit incentive, it counts on the next year's cap, is the way that this article said it to me. Because the Panthers played much better than anyone anticipated, apparently they hit a whole bunch of unlikely to hit incentives.
Oh, really?
Including X amount of snaps and they make the playoffs, X amount of snaps and they make the playoffs, and certain guys hit a bunch. So they had a decent amount of unlikely to hit incentives from this past year that are going to count on next year. So that giant cap space that we thought they had got eaten into a little bit. And they have, I believe, seven draft picks. So you have to be able to fit all of those draft picks into your cap. So the cap space is shrinking, which is the only reason I'm even entertaining moving on from A'Shawn, because $10 million kind of solves that. You're right back to where you were, you thought you were going in. That's a first class problem. So many of our guys hit our unlikely to hit incentives because we made the postseason that now we have to change our arithmetic on the cap. It's my private jet takes too long to fill up. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have cons and cons for post-transfer portal ACC football. Yeah, 365 days a year action on the football field. But before we get there, Dennis Cox has something he likes to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here real quick for Loan Pronto. Low mortgage rates, they're back, folks. And listen, Loan Pronto has fixed rate mortgages with APRs as low as 4.89% APR, the lowest in years. Smart homeowners are taking advantage of this while they can. If you got stuck with a 6% loan, you can lower your payment big time. Or you can keep your primary mortgage intact and get cash out of your equity with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. One homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards, paid off some car loans, and cut their monthly expense by $2,000. Call now and see what option works best for you, but don't miss the big rate drop of 2026. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous Rapid Equity Loan. You can close in less than 2 weeks, and you may be able to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal with no hard credit pull. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, heads towards Cons in Consville. What are you most confident, what are you most concerned about for the ACC football teams in the Triangle post-transfer portal? Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
The goal for the Carolina Hurricanes in the remaining games before the Olympic break, simple. Replenish those reverse Uno cards. The tilting the ice and playing catch-up from allowing early goals or silly penalties needs to stop in the third period. Put the hammer down early. And please, please, please don't let Stanky or Jarvie go a game without a single shot.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Brian's headed to the basketball court, but he's sick of this check engine light. So he goes to AutoZone for the free Fix Finder service,
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
where a friendly AutoZoner reads the light in just a few minutes and gives him a detailed report.
No big, just a loose gas cap.
And gets him to the court with a tight gas cap and tighter defense. The free Fix Finder service at AutoZone. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Now, let's take a short break from our 8-hour ode to the oboe for a word from our sponsor, Mr. First Tuesday. Get your scratch-offs on the very first Tuesday. Looks like we've got a caller on the line.
How are you not more excited about new scratch-offs? There's millions in prizes.
Who is this?
Oh, this is Mr. First Tuesday. And by the way, it goes, get your scratch-offs on the very first Tuesday.
Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
ESPN presents the NHL Stadium Series in a most unexpected place. A hockey takeover of Tampa, Florida and Raymond James Stadium, where the Boston Bruins collide with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Nikita Kucherov! 2 teams take their shot at a one-of-a-kind game. The 2026 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series. Bruins, Lightning, Sunday, February 1st at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Groovin' coming out of break. Please follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on social media. Got to get my lingo right. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow on social media. 99.9 The Fan. It's our handle, our name pretty much everywhere. 99.9 The Fan. And if you head to our YouTube or you download the 99.9 The Fan app to your phone from the Google Play or App Store, you can catch Brandon Bussey conversation from on Monday, a little Canes Corner action with Mike Maniscalco. And that could get you ready for tonight's game where Brandon Bussey is expected to be in net for the Carolina Hurricanes, which today will be wearing their Whalers uniforms. Whalers night, 3rd of the year. Yes. Big Whalers fans. 3 times. That's a ton for an alternate jersey. They had kind of the Nordique Whalers home and home with Colorado, so now this is, I believe, the more traditional Whalers night. But either way, 99.9 The Fan, follow it everywhere. Dennis will be sitting in for Adam Gold for the Storm Watch.
That's right.
So 6:30, about 2 hours from now, a little bit more. He'll be getting you ready for the game. 7 o'clock puck drop, traditional time, traditional broadcast, all right here on 99.9. With all of that said, let's dive into some cons and cons, shall we?
But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
By the way, the whole reason I started talking about the Canes there was to remind you that we have first goal scorer predictions at 4:33.
Yes, that.
Completely forgot about it. So 4:33, first goal scorer predictions. Be ready to dial in. Who scores the first goal for the Canes Whalers, and in what period do they score it? Now, cons and cons. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about? One thing about each program that plays ACC football in the Triangle. Dennis, which team do we start with?
Let's go, the team that just lost their quarterback. Let's go Duke.
All right. Well, as always, good news, bad news. Which do you want first? You always take the bad news. Start with concerns. And Dennis, you stepped all over it.
Yep.
Quarterback.
Yep, that's it.
How quickly it went from a major strength. I don't even want to say a weakness. It's a major unknown now. They have a redshirt freshman. They have a unproven, unknown kind of group on the roster now, and they have the possibilities of an entire transfer portal of whoever is out there uncommitted, and likely have some money to spend, right? If there was a significant settlement that Darian Mensah has to pay them back, or the money that they had earmarked for Darian Mensah is now back in the budget, I guess. So if they wanted to, they could go splash the pot with some new quarterback to come in. But it is a complete unknown now. And, nationally, the Mensah situation, I think, was watched closely because they were looking for the impact on contracts and future of NIL agreements. The impact for Duke is more immediately like, great, now quarterback's a question. Like, they have a much more tangible, immediate impact there. And I find they're kind of forced into doing exactly what they don't believe, right? When Manny Diaz took over, right away, Malik Murphy was brought out of the transfer portal, committed, like, as soon as Manny Diaz committed, Malik Murphy committed. And then Darian Mensah was a very early commitment as well last year. So they like to get quarterback figured out. This situation has made it so they couldn't be early to the decision table. And that's a concern. You're along the same lines, Dennis?
Yeah, 100%. It's not just that. It's also you ended up losing one of your top receivers in Cooper Barcade at the exact same time as well as a result.
Yep.
Double whammy.
And already lost Quayshawn Brown. Who was a very big explosive playmaker for them in special teams and in the pass game. Confidence, that's more fun. What are you most confident in for Duke?
My confidence is the fact that Manny Diaz is going into year 3. The fact that he's actually been able to still build the fact that he's been able to sustain continuing to bring in good talent. I know we're talking about the guys that just left, but again, he's shown to bring in high quality talent. Like Nate Shepard is a darn good running back. The fact that he was able to find a Cooper Barcade coming out of Harvard and was you say probably was their number 1 wide receiver this past year, at least their number 2 at minimum. You're able to get Mensah, Malik Murphy. He's been able to still find guys at Duke over the last 2 years. So I have no doubt that he's still been able to bring in quality talent, even though we're talking about the guys that just left.
Mine is one of the guys you mentioned. My confidence is Nate Shepard.
He's good.
He's good. He's, I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but he's like the one who stayed. Right, the boy who lived, the running back who stayed. Second in the ACC in total rushing yards this year, behind only Mark Fletcher, Miami. That's impressive, right? And returning that, it at least gives you something to build around. And whoever is your quarterback, having a running game is going to help him out a bunch. So confidence is Nate Shepard. They do need to get some offensive line kind of replenished and ready to go, but that's my confidence. What team do we go to next?
Let's go to the coach that got left out of the NFL, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Let's go to Carolina.
All right. We'll start with concern. My concern is it's not that they got hit hard in the portal or whatever. We just talked about a year where they had 70-plus new faces from freshmen and transfer portal, and we talked at ACC kickoff with players about, introducing themselves to each other, like on the practice field. Hey, nice to meet you. I'm so-and-so. Cover three on one. Ready? Like that's how they were introducing themselves in the defensive backfield. Well, guess what? In year number 2, they have already commitments from high school and the transfer portal. 58 new faces. 39 high school commits, 19 incoming transfers, according to 247 as it stands right now. And there's room for more, right? Like the transfer portal stays active. If your name's in the portal now, they may add to it. So is there another adjustment period? Like the defense played well. That was the highlight of UNC season is the improvement of the defense over the year. They played 100% better towards the end than they did at the beginning. But is that about to happen again? Like, is it all right, go back to the beginning because we got another 60 new guys. That's a tough thing to deal with every year, all that turnover.
My concern is the fact that even though with all that turnover, because your roster was starting from such a low ground, did you really, how well can you assess these college level players? Because again, the roster that they brought in last year just simply wasn't that good. And then get all this turnover that you mentioned, there's still carryover from that team from last year, even though you mentioned 58 new guys. Well, there's still, 58 or 60 that are coming back from the year before, which wasn't that good? How you're still not, to me, in my eyes, in a position where you really have elevated the talent on the roster. Even with 58 new guys. Because, again, incoming freshmen, how many true freshmen make immediate high impacts in college football right away? As true freshmen, it's hard to find.
Especially that aren't like the Jeremiah Smith super-duper 5 stars, which, Carolina has, a couple top 300 guys. Like, don't get me wrong, but there's a big difference between, number 170 and number 4.
That ain't Malachi Toney.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It ain't Jeremiah Smith. You didn't bring in that guy. I mean, unless there's a guy that was, fell through the cracks and was number 180 and all of a sudden shines right away as a true freshman. How much are you really going to count on true freshmen? So I don't know. I just don't think that they had enough. They definitely didn't have the talent last year, and I just don't think you had enough to turn it over completely going into year 2.
Let's get to the confidence. Confidence for Carolina. This is a bit of addition by subtraction. I don't mean to be mean to one individual. My confidence is Freddie Kitchens is out.
Yeah.
I get why they tried. They wanted to have a whole coaching staff of guys that had spent a bunch of time in the NFL. Freddie Kitchens is one of those confusing ones where you look at all the offenses he's run and there's really not a lot of success. But, the way the NFL works is, because you were a coordinator once, another one thinks you can be a coordinator, right? Because you were a head coach for a hot second, another thinks you should be a coordinator, and you can kind of bounce around like that for a while. I'm not saying Petrino will be loads better, but Petrino, despite the off-the-field drama, he's put together some good offenses in a bunch of different places. So, the fact that the guy with a history of not putting together good offenses is gone, I think is a move in the right direction.
My confidence was new offensive philosophy.
There you go.
Because same thing. So many passes I saw last year, just Gio Lopez it was to the left side and outside the numbers. I think that's the only way they could throw the ball was just to the left side and outside the numbers. There was no creativity, nothing over the middle. I know Gio Lopez is not the biggest quarterback out there. It might be one of the same. But I know he's not the biggest quarterback out there, but at least try to throw to the middle of the field. We never saw that once at all last year. And there were so many times we see like Damon June have like a fantastic game. You're like, wow, this guy's great from the state of North Carolina. And then all of a sudden, next week he gets like 3 carries. It's like, well, wait a second. He just had like 100 plus. Now you're just going to give him 3 the next game in a tight game? I don't know. None of it made sense.
And finally, NC State. We'll start with concern. Mine's offensive line.
Okay, that's fair.
I think Jacarius Peak is in true offensive line fashion, right? They're always overlooked. They're never the highlight. Of the transfer portal departures, Hollywood Smothers, Terrell Anderson, Noah Rogers, all these guys that play these big flashy positions, go to all these big flashy schools. I think Peak is the one that's going to be felt the most, right? He is a NFL talent type of offensive tackle, and him not being there is going to be noticed. So the one thing I will say is Soul, the right Spike, their interior offensive lineman that stuck around is also very important, but you need more than one. So, it's not impossible to replace a guy like Peak, but you got to be intentional about it. You got to find another dude. So that's what I'm looking for from them. Concern offensive line.
My concern for NC State is just the turnover with the skill position guys. That's the big concern because you have Noah Rogers is gone. You have, obviously, Hollywood Smothers is gone. Justin Jolie is going to be going into the NFL. There's Terrell Anderson, I think, also.
Yep, USC.
He went to USC. Wow, good for him. But just so much turnover when it comes to just the offensive skill guys. They were super deep last year because it felt like any game, it could have been any one of 6 or 7 guys that could pop off for a big game among their skill players. But now you've had that position depleted. How well did you replenish it?
That USC, by the way, was Southern Cal, just to get that situated. Confidence. My confidence is how they replace those skill positions.
All right.
My confidence is C.J. Bailey and his high school teammates. The 2023 Chaminade Madonna High School down there in southern Florida, leading passer, C.J. Bailey. This is their high school, 2023 stats. Leading rusher, Davion Goss. Leading receiver, Jeremiah Smith. But second leading receiver, JoJo Trader. They went and because Goss transferred to NC State from UNC. JoJo Trader transferred to NC State from Miami. In the world of the transfer portal, where you have to build chemistry in like 5 months because you hit the portal, gotta go, everybody, this is what we're doing, it's all fast forward, you kind of come with some built-in chemistry if you go get all his high school friends and put them around him. So, like Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith for a while, Tua and Jalen Waddle, Trevor Lawrence and ETN, get the previous level, if they're good, put them together on the next level. They come with like a built-in shorthand. So the 2023 Chaminade Madonna High School offense, minus Jeremiah Smith, who's at Ohio State, maybe the best player in the country, basically is the NC State skill positions. It's kind of cool, and I think that helps. I'm confident.
That's fair. My confidence is the fact that you have the same quarterback coming back for the 3rd straight year.
Doesn't happen often.
It doesn't. Same quarterback 3 straight years. Like you said, not many teams in college football have that. Not many teams have the same quarterback from one year to the next in college football, let alone for the 3rd straight season. So, yeah, that's my confidence when it comes to NC State, plain and simple.
You know what time it is. That's Cons and Cons. It's time for first goal scorer predictions. Here on 99.9 The Fan on Canes game days, we ask you to make first goal scorer predictions. Who scores the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes, or today the Whalers? And in what period does that first goal get scored? Call in now, 919-860-5326. 919-860-5326 is the number to call. Call in now with those 2 pieces of information. Once again, who scores the first goal and in what period do they score it for Carolina? You can test wits. You can battle against us. Show that you know hockey. 919-860-5326. Heister Automotive Group Hotline. Open now. 919-860-5326. While Dennis gets some of you lined up on the call-in line, I will let you know what you're up against. These are the 99.9 The Fan personality selections that have been locked in, and also when you say them on air, that gives us a receipt, right? If we get it right, we can come back and play this and say it aired at 4:35 on Thursday. Paul Ihander, host of Next Up, weekday mornings, 99.9 The Fan. Jackson Blake in the first says on a rush. Jackson Blake on a rush in the first. Max Gorin, who produces Next Up, weekday mornings, 9 to 10. Nikolai Ehlers in the first, says it's in the late first, so maybe a slow start for the Whalers. Now we get a bit of a party wave going on here. Adam Gold, Aho in the first. I don't know who told them. Adam obviously out of the office today. If you're listening to the Adam Gold show earlier, Paul Ihander sat in for him. So I texted him. I said, hey, first goal scorer prediction. He said, Aho in the first. I'm told he's scoring a hat trick. I don't know who told him, but he's been told he's scoring a hat trick. And Victoria, the producer of the Adam Gold show, with absolutely no knowledge of Adam's prediction, also went Aho in the first and said in the first 10 minutes. So some Aho kind of loading up there. I'll give you mine and Dennis's after we hear from the callers. So let's hear from some of the callers. We have Ross up first. Ross in Raleigh, welcome to the show. Happy to have you. Who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
I'm going to go a late goal in the second by Jordan Stahl, and it's going to be off a little weird bounce, like it always does, it seems like.
Now, hold on. Why a late second? Why are the Canes getting off to such a slow start?
I mean, Utah's been on a tear recently, and they're climbing their way up the standings. So, Whalers night tonight, I think we got, there's just a lot of emotion in these games, and I think it'll be a hard-fought battle. And then once Jordan opens the door in the second for us, I think we're going to end up getting 3 or more. Easy.
Okay. I like it. Ross, appreciate it. You are locked in with Stahl in the second. Late second off a weird bounce. We jump now to Caleb in Durham. Caleb, who scores the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes and in what period?
Well, I think it's going to be Jarvis in the first period on a breakaway for a power play.
Oh, power play. And why? Why Jarvis? Why, is that your guy?
Yes, sir. Plus, last time I went there, he got a hat trick, and so I feel like he's going to go strong again.
Are you going to the game?
No, sir, I'm not.
All right. I was going to say, well, if the only time or last time you went, he scored a hat trick and you were back going, I was going to say we got to call for the Hattie. But Caleb, we appreciate it. You're locked in. Jarvis in the first on a breakaway power play goal. That is.
He did it for Dion.
I was going to say that is for Dion. Although Caleb didn't sound like he got in a car accident, which is
no.
That's what we're rooting for. Dennis, you got to put yours on record. You got to put it on receipts. Who do you think scores the first goal for the Canes/Whalers and in what period?
A guy that needs a goal. Gone 11 straight without a goal, which is crazy to think about. Sebastian Aho in the first period.
Aho in the first.
He's due.
Any other details?
2-on-2 rush.
Okay.
Takes a pass from Svechnikov.
2-on-2 rush, assist to Svech. This is a true party wave. This is a true party wave. Sorry to Paul and Max, you morning show people. You're not on the group. Adam went Aho in the first. Victoria, Aho in the first. Dennis, Aho in the first. And I've had it written down since before any of you gave me the prediction, Aho in the first. My reasoning stems from the fact that in the last 7 Whalers nights, Aho has 6 goals. In the 7 Whalers nights going back to 2021, he has scored 6 goals, easily the most on the team. Next closest, I have it right here, is 2 for Jarvis and 2 for Stahl. So you put the Whalers jerseys on, Aho scores a little bit more. So Aho in the first. One of those is a overtime game winner as well.
Let's see. We have Boris says Aho.
A party wave.
First
Everybody
period.
jump on. We're all going for a ride.
Comebread says Seabass in the first period.
All of us. It's Aho in the first.
Will Parks here said Jarvis in the first. Short-handed, by the way. We need to actually, by the way, Will Parks, we need to know who's in the box. But Jarvis in the first is for Dion.
You can be a part of the group as long as you give Aho an assist, or he's the one in the box.
Right.
Aho, everybody.
Aho in the box.
Everybody, come on.
Our guy Micah says Kokiniemi first period.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
You got to know the picker of you got to know the predictor there. Kokiniemi in the first.
Know your personnel.
Exactly. No, play to the judges. I'd be down for a KK goal, by the way. He's actually had some success on Whalers nights. No goals, but 2 assists. So
all right, there you go.
He's been on the board. You can keep making those predictions in our YouTube live stream comments. That's where Dennis was grabbing some of those. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Head to the live stream. Obviously, comments right below. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm pointing. It'd be down there. So go ahead, check it out. Let us know. And as long as you get them registered before the game, and there are timestamps, we'll count it as a legit prediction. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, or you can send them to me on Twitter, at Donnelly Sports as well. They're at Donnelly Sports. There is timestamps there as well, which is, all we need for receipts. Before we move on here on 99.9 The Fan, Dennis has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here real quick, again, from my friends over at Law Tiger. Speaking of hockey, speaking of Canes, speaking of winning, you have that opportunity right now because the Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. The date to enter, it's April 4th. I'm sorry, the date to enter is actually March 29th. The bike will be given away live on April 4th at the game and includes tickets and a catered suite. That in and of itself is pretty awesome. Imagine also pulling away on a Canes custom Ducati motorcycle. That sounds pretty awesome if you ask me. Caniacsbike.com is the website to enter. Again, go to caniacsbike.com. You have a couple months So tell a friend to tell a friend, hey, go sign up, go enter, go do it. Do it now. Go to caniacsbike.com. Enter for your chance to win a custom Caniacs Ducati motorcycle courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. caniacsbike.com to enter. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, hears from many of you in a feedback frenzy. Coming up next.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and Utah.
Back to Thompson, they score. He saved it, I thought. He saved it. Oh, dear, Bussy.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Luukkonen with the save. Rebound, they score. Seth Jarvis on the power play. Followed his shot and found the back of the net.
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
It's the playoffs, and honestly, your living room isn't ready for this. Your couch doesn't have award-winning wings, your fridge doesn't have 30 beers on tap, and your TV, oh, it's outnumbered. Carolina Ale House has wall-to-wall TVs. We've got homemade favorites, ice-cold beer, and enough screens to catch every game at once. So grab your crew, bring your appetite, and yell at the TV like a professional. Don't fumble your game day plans. Watch the playoffs at Carolina Ale House, where great sports deserve great food. Ale, yeah.
Big tax changes this year could mean a bigger refund, and Jackson Hewitt knows how to get you your biggest. You'll get $100 just to try us. That won't make you filthy rich, but definitely gas plus groceries rich. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back, which would make you low-key loaded. Or at least wealthy adjacent? Go with our trusted pros and get $100 to switch. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
If you are a contact lens wearer and you are tired of wasting time and money, you need Travers LASIK and Dr. Lori Travers, because in about 10 minutes, Dr. Lori can put you on the path to 20/20 vision, and it's totally painless. 2-year, 0-interest financing is available. And if you are a first responder, police, firefighter, or EMT, Travers is giving you exclusive savings as well. 919-510-6830. 919-510-6830. TraversLASIK.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Playing some tunes coming out of break. I don't know why. I'm grooving today. I'm getting Friday vibes, but it's only Thursday. I don't know if that's good or bad.
I don't know.
It's a Canes night. It's Canes hockey night. Whalers hockey night. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's getting those 70s vibes. Hartford, Connecticut.
I should play some early 90s stuff is what I should do.
Yeah, that'd work as well. It's Whalers night. There's some conversations that go along with that, but that's not what this segment's about. This segment's about your conversations and your feedback for us. It's something we call a feedback frenzy. Dennis, take it away.
All right, so earlier this week on a Monday Sound Off, our good friend Micah called in talking about Carolina Hurricanes.
Correct.
Now, Micah actually posted this in our YouTube live chat, because we actually posted that video on YouTube. Micah's question and everything and your reaction to it. Micah discussing about wanting more size and more grit with the Carolina Hurricanes among their forwards. And Micah said this: man, you guys posted the video of my call-in, and I didn't even get to defend my point after Tim's comments. I wasn't saying that we should have Nadeau, Blake, and Stakehoven all in the lineup together. Yes, I know that they're all small. I'd rather trade Blake or Stakehoven for a piece rather than trading Nadeau. He is a pure goal scorer. Also, size, sure, some of the guys on the team have height, but they don't have the toughness aspect that is required in the playoffs. I think he's referring to Mark Jankowski, because I know that's what he would say. That and not having a pure goal scorer like Nadeau have been the issue. A guy like Braden Shen, who plays for the St. Louis Blues, by the way, Braden Shen is the exact type of toughness that would benefit us in the playoffs and is a differentiator from what we have right now.
Well, first of all, we let you get your points across all the time. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of listeners that I don't know if they can, or that can complain about, like, you know, oh, you guys didn't let me defend. We hear you, Micah. I'm kidding, but kind of serious. Listen, it's so hard to do that hypothetical game, and I know we try to do it. I try to avoid kind of these multiple step hypotheticals, right? Okay, so now we're bringing up Nadeau, we're trading Blake or Stankoven for a piece, and without knowing what that piece is, we have to figure out where Nadeau fits into the lineup, and it's a confusing deal. And then who did he want? He wants someone from St. Louis?
Yeah, Braden Shen. Center, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
But he's also can chip in offensively. He's consistently been like a roughly around like 22, 23 goal scorer type guy.
All right.
For a long time.
Is the world just setting up the world's, like, one of the biggest trades in NHL history, and you bring back Thomas, Binnington, Chen, you just take like half the Blues roster,
right?
And you send back everything that isn't like nailed down in Carolina. You're sending them like everything. I don't know.
I mean, Braden Shen also is making $6.5 million a year and still has 2 more years left on his contract. There's a money aspect that comes in.
I obviously have seen him play, but I don't know too much about him, age or value or anything like that.
34.
Maybe I don't want to put words in Micah's mouth. Maybe he's asking for a Braden Shen type rather than a Braden Shen.
I think type, but I think he actually would just like Braden Shen.
All right, we'll see. What they do at the trade deadline is fascinating. And actually, during the starting five, I have some thoughts to send by Dennis. We'll get to that in a little bit. What else do you have for a little feedback frenzy?
All right, also here on the feedback frenzy, yesterday we had a conversation about NC State basketball after their win on Tuesday night against Syracuse, which actually saw NC State in the last 7-8 minutes of the game really pull away and put the hammer down against Syracuse. And this one comes from Jay Clemens. Jay Clemens says, the Red Reckoning will be defined by the UNC and Duke home games. Otherwise, we're still state. I reserve judgment until then.
You know what? I don't know if I agree with that, but I love hearing it.
I respect it.
And here's why. Those thoughts are going away in college sports, right? Ohio State lost to Michigan, won the national championship. And Ohio State fans were joyous, as they should be, but there was a point in time where if you lost to Michigan and you were Ohio State, that almost mattered more than whatever you did in all the other games combined, right? You had to win those games. I'm looking at it and saying, all right. I mean, if they win against Louisville, if they win against Miami, if they win against there's an SMU game coming up. Like, if they win those games, they could end up being like a 5 or 6 seed, even with losses to Duke and Carolina. The fact that you'd be like, nope, didn't work, Red Reckoning, not it, that shows me rivalries are still alive, and I love that. So I might not agree with you, but I love that that's the way you're thinking, so more power to you.
All right. We also, back a couple days ago, you had a live instant reaction to Bill Belichick not being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
This one comes from PLB Lot. PLB Lot says this. This is the joke of the year, or the earliest April Fool's prank by the committee. They have no credibility after this if they had any left to begin with. And I'm not even a Patriots fan saying that.
Yeah. No, do you know what actually should happen? I was thinking about this while I was driving home yesterday. Because the Pro Football, leadership group, I don't even know what they're called, put out a statement saying if you're not fulfilling your duties or you're not listening to the rules, like, we could take away your vote. Here's my thought. I don't want to judge anybody for thinking way outside the box, but if you're like not even outside the box, you're like outside the universe, I do think you deserve to have your votes questioned. So here's the deal. If there has to be some percentage, right? If 70% or more, or somebody gets in, obviously, and you didn't vote for them enough times, I think you should have to go to like not a hearing, it's not a court, but you should have to defend your picks and then they get to judge. Like if you're always in the minority, right? Like 85% of people think so-and-so should be in and you're always in the 15, they should be able to call you in and go, all right, you got to explain your picks here. Because obviously we have a bunch of other smart people that we've vetted and think are good enough to do this, and you're never agreeing with any of them. Not to say you can't occasionally be a contrarian or occasionally see things differently, but if you're always that, I do think you should be looked at because you're doing something wrong. And you know, maybe go on probation or something, who knows? There needs to be some checks and balances there. It shouldn't be like Supreme Court justices where like you're a lifetime appointee and you know you just get the job security forever of being a Hall of Fame voter. There needs to be some checks and balances.
All right, also along those same lines, we actually had a lot of people that said, justice for Spygate, justice for Deflategate, all those kinds of things. But also, one person actually did mention this. This one comes from JDA89. Okay. JDA says this: they're all going in together. The class of New England Patriots. Like saw Bill get inducted at the same time as Brady, and maybe Robert Kraft also goes in there together as well. Like they'll just all go in at the same time.
I do like if they like themed classes. Like if they're pushing Eli Manning long enough to go in like with Roethlisberger and Rivers or something, like if there's like a little theme, I wouldn't hate that. But I think they should make that vocal. As far as justice for Deflategate and justice for Spygate, okay. I'm not going to say that's a bad take, but I am saying you are now permanently on your high horse. And that means Brady has to wait, right? That means everyone that's been suspended for PEDs has to wait. That means everybody linked to a whole bunch of different scenarios has to wait. I'm okay with it if you're a moral, stringent, strict, yes, no, black, white, no shades of gray person. I'm cool. But that's not a take you can flip-flop on, right? That's not, I gained new information and changed it. Like, you are either on that moral high ground or you are not. And Antonio Gates got in last year with a PED suspension. So, which cheating do you care about?
All right, we have time for maybe 1-2 more here.
All right.
We actually talked about on Tuesday about Duke basketball, their big win over Louisville. And by big, I mean crushed them. 83-52. This one comes from Jace the Face. Jace the Face says, Cam Boozer is the obvious most impactful player in college basketball right now.
That's tough. Well, this is like most valuable. Or when Shaquille O'Neal says, I'm the most dominant player ever. I'm not the best. I'm the most dominant. I'm like, are you using impactful as for a specific reason other than saying best or other than saying most productive? Or what does impactful mean? Listen, I think he's going to be the player of the year. I think he has the highest floor in college sports or college basketball. He's unbelievably good. I mean, when I saw DeBonsa when he scored 43, looked pretty impactful. Like there's other guys that I don't know what your goal is there with impactful. I get frustrated when people are having GOAT debates and they say like Jordan's the best of all time, LeBron's the most complete player of all time, Shaq's the most dominant, Bill Russell's the winningest, and I'm like, who's the best? Like there's one answer to all of this. Like pick your wording. If impactful means best, then I'm good. Then I think he's the best or player of the year. Cool. If impactful is to get it to where you can give like 9 dudes the nod, then I'm not okay with that.
All right, last one here. Dre1322 says, again, this talking about Duke, says Duke has the most quad 1 wins in the nation with only 1 loss. Mm-hmm. Y'all keep sleeping on us.
Who is sleeping on them?
I don't know. Not us.
Who is sleeping on them?
Maybe others. I don't know. I'm not.
No one's sleeping. You're Duke. No one is sleeping on Duke.
And what, you're 4th in the country?
Listen, if the
slept on.
If the players want to go and create a chip on their shoulder and say they're being disrespected, that's a competitor thing that all great athletes do, and they'll find the one Twitter troll and go out there and score 40 to clap back to the haters. Fans, you're Duke. You know what? Notre Dame football isn't slept on either. You know what I mean? Like, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, they're not slept on. There are certain Patrick Mahomes, I don't know, when Tiger Woods, yes, the very good teams with very strong histories, the Blue Bloods, when you have a good team, you're not slept on. Everybody is wide awake with what Duke is bringing to the table. The Boozers alone are pretty darn famous. And that's not to say that, trust me, we talk about them all the time. They're a very good team. We are hyping them up right alongside you. But we're not sleeping on them. And I don't know anybody that is. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly here to talk about Miller Lending. Miller Lending is also not getting slept on because those that use them know how great they are. Matter of fact, there are people here around the station, people in the office that I talk to that have lived here in this area for a long time, and they've used Miller Lending for refis 9-10 times because every time a rate drops, no closing cost loan, no cost loans. Get the lower monthly payment, keep all the money in your pocket. That's what you're looking for, right? And if rates go up, you wait. Rates go up, you wait. Rates come down, they're below your rate, boom. Refinance again. Do it over and over and over again. If you got a no closing cost loan with Miller Lending with two years and change ago when rates were at their peak, right? You might have been touching 8, something much higher than you were comfortable with. You probably refinanced 2-3 times by now and gotten a lower monthly payment each time, and you didn't have to buy down that rate with thousands and thousands of dollars at closing when you got that original mortgage 2 years ago. That's what Miller Lending gives you. That's what a no closing cost loan makes possible. It lets you have the flexibility to take advantage of a market every single time it drops without feeling like you wasted all the closing costs or all that money buying down rates the first time. Give them a call. Let them talk to you. Let them answer your questions. It's a no obligation, completely free call, and you'll be talking to somebody right here in the Triangle. Locally owned means locally owned for Miller Lending. You'll be talking to somebody in Cary. The number, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or visit them online at millerlending.com. Easy to remember, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. Starting 5 is coming up next. Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
Folks, Brandon Bussey just might be the guy. The performance against Buffalo, the consistency of performance, the fact that in his 22 starts, 13 times he has allowed 2 or fewer goals. Do you know what Carolina's record is when the goalie allows 2 or fewer goals? They are 18-1. That says it all.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Raleigh, brace yourself for the ultimate party. Neo and Akon, 2 legends, 1 stage, 1 electrifying, unforgettable night. Neo and Akon present Nights Like This Tour, performing all their hits live at Coastal Credit Union Music Park, Friday, July 10th. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. Part of the Mattress Warehouse Concert Series.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Hey folks, Dennis Cox here from my good friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. You've heard me talk about it before in my weight loss journey through Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I've lost over 42 pounds thanks to the program, and I started that all the way back at the end of the summer, and most importantly, I've maintained the weight that I've lost. Again, 42 pounds. Thanks to the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. No shots, no injections, no steroids, no creepy side effects. Just resetting your metabolism. That way your body can do the natural thing, which is burn off weight, burn off fat. That's the whole point of the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. They've helped thousands of people like myself lose anywhere between 10 to 20% of their body weight. I've lost over 15% thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center. And you can get on the program as well. Just got to give them a call at 919-897-7506 or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. set up a free 15-minute phone consultation. 919-897-7506, RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. You want to get on the weight loss journey? That's the first people you got to get in touch with, RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. A snowstorm is on the way for the weekend, ramping up Friday night into Saturday especially. For tonight, it is partly cloudy with lows near 20. Friday, highs are only in the mid-30s with more clouds, and snow is expected to move in after sunset Friday and ramp up after midnight.
5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 56 points to 49,071.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, everybody, you can hear that Canes game. Whalers night tonight right here on 99.9 The Fan, as well as the 99.9 The Fan app. And on Storm Watch duty, sitting in for Adam Gold today, is this show's very own Dennis Cox.
Thank you.
There you go. Dennis, make sure you represent us well.
Oh, I will. Talk to Rob Brennemore, Trip Tracy.
I was going to say, who are you going to be hearing from? Give us the full rundown.
Talk again. Rob Brennemore, Trip Tracy, Sean Walker, Jalen Chatfield. You hear it all.
There you go. That's at 6:30. Puck drop, 7 o'clock. Here at 5 o'clock, we hit you with the starting five, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Charlotte Hornets.
Don't look now, everybody. Something is a-bubbling in Charlotte Hornets world. It's funny how these things come together.
Something buzzing over there?
That would have been the better one to hit. That would have been the better wording. It's funny how these things kind of slowly happen and then all of a sudden click. They've been putting together a roster of some exciting young players for a while now, and it appears as if things are clicking. If you look at some of the advanced analytics, their starting five is one of the best lineups in the league. When they're all healthy, when they can all play big minutes, they beat teams pretty good. In this month, they've won, I think it was 7 road games, something crazy, by 15 or more points, and only 3 teams in NBA history have done that in 1 month. One of the championship Lakers teams with Shaq and Kobe, one of the championship Heat teams with LeBron and Wade, and this year's Charlotte Hornets. That's it. They're putting something together there. I still think there's a few more steps. I think they're going to, this is one of the years where hopefully they get into the playing game, get some valuable experience, and then they're better for it moving forward. But if they can keep LaMelo healthy, playing the way he's playing, if they can keep Brandon Miller healthy, playing the way he's playing, and Con Knipple healthy, playing the way he's playing, and continue to build around him with young, exciting players, watch out. Watch out. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think they go for like a big crazy trade or anything this year, but maybe in the next 2-3 years, if they're they feel like they need a piece to get over the hump, then maybe. That's number 5. Here on the starting 5, let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together. Let's do that hockey.
All right, so we're going to talk about later on in the starting 5 the game for tonight. But Dennis, I want to float something coming your way.
Okay, talk to me.
Earlier today, we did a little game of in or out and trade targets for the Kings.
All right.
One of the players you were in on, although reluctant, was Panarin from the Rangers.
Yes, Artemi Panarin.
So I'm just during commercial breaks. I'm on the Twitters. I'm on the social medias.
Mm-hmm.
So just give I don't have time to fully vet everything during commercial breaks. So some of this is aggregator account stuff. So I want to put a hint of before you cite this, go check the source. But there's quite a few aggregators saying Pierre LeBrun has put the Carolina Hurricanes in significant interest of Panarin.
Okay.
Then there's this Puck Empire tweet, which credits David Pagnotta, the fourth period.
Yeah.
With the Kings, Caps, and Hurricanes are believed to be the front runners for Artemi Panarin. Sharks, Stars, Ducks, Mammoth, Panthers, and Red Wings also have interest. But here's the part that I want to float your way. Because when we had our conversation earlier, you went, goodness, it's going to be expensive. And we talked about if there was going to be an extension involved, whatever it is. The Puck Empire tweet, again attributed to the fourth period. The Kings and Capitals are willing to go to 3 years, about $12 million average annual value.
Ooh.
Panarin wants 4 years, about $11 million average annual value. Now, again, some of this is aggregator, so the numbers, I'm not going to say like this is what that 100% is saying. This isn't like a trusted insider is giving it to us directly in an interview. But I will, let's just use those numbers as a guideline here. Are you more in or more out on a Canes trade for somebody like Artemi Panarin, or exactly for Artemi Panarin? If it is 3 years, $12 million, or 4 years, 11. Like, do either of those numbers stand out to you for any reason, making your interest more or less exciting?
4 years at that number, that's too long for me.
Okay.
I'd be more comfortable with 3 times 12 than I would be 4 times 11. That's just me.
3 times 12, you're in.
I think I would be.
And it's fair.
I think, yeah. I mean, he's damn good goal scorer. Not like you don't just accidentally score 47 goals and 40 goals and 39. That's not an accident.
Oh, no, I mean,
is he willing to skate and play defensively the way Canes need him to? Because that's a big thing as well. Like Rod asked that of everybody.
Or the opposite.
Yeah.
Would they be willing to loosen some of the reins if it means having a 40-goal score? That's not an accident.
I think if he buys in,
there's a few things. I also, and I like this should be a disclaimer that is read at the end of like pharmaceutical commercials, when they're like, this will, clear you of all of your medical ailments. It can also cause death, and it could also cause lack of breathing, and it could also cause. We should have one at the end that just says like every time a Carolina Hurricane interest is mentioned in a trade conversation, we should rip through like a disclaimer that says like the Carolina Hurricanes have been in on every trade discussion, and they call about everything, and their actual interest is could be feigned or completely incorrect, because it's hard to find like a big name that gets talked about this trade deadline that the Canes are not attached to in some way, or that some insider hasn't said they've been interested in. It's like, sometimes it's the Kings, Caps, and Canes. Sometimes it's, this other team, and the Canes. And sometimes it's Dallas, Colorado, and the Canes. Like, it's always the Canes.
Well, speaking of which, actually, Pierre LeBrun, TSN, also writes for The Athletic. Speaking of Panarin, this is actually something that was posted earlier today. Here is Pierre LeBrun talking about potentially Canes and Panarin.
Via sources. The part that I struggle with, Gino, is Tom Donnelly really going to dole out that kind of money on an extension for Panarin? Does Panarin fit stylistically with the Hurricanes and how they play? So I don't know. Just things that I think about. And if I had to think of a team that would probably be number one on Panarin's list, I would say the Florida Panthers, like almost every other player in the league. But how could Florida really make that happen with their cap situation? So I struggle to make the math work there, but worth mentioning them. And obviously there are other teams, but that's a bit of a glimpse where things might be right now.
Yeah, all legit questions. But, there's nobody perfect in the trade market, right? There's nobody that's like out there playing Canes-style hockey for someone else just waiting to get to the Canes, right? Like, there's always going to be an adjustment period. There are players that fit more than others, don't get me wrong. But, if you want a guy that can score, you might have to make some concessions elsewhere.
Yeah, and again, Panarin has full no move clause, so he has complete control over where he goes. Also, you add on top of the fact that he probably wants an extension done. If I'm going to agree to go on a trade to you, I want an extension done as well.
Yeah, and
that's 100% in his power and 100% within his right.
That's why you negotiate for that particular clause. It's all, and listen, every big trade that the Canes have made, or every trade that the Canes have made since I've been covering the team, I don't know if anybody predicted them. The Gensel one, there was some talk. But, Mikko Rantanen completely out of nowhere. Obviously, the trade away was mentioned a bit, but they tend to surprise us with this sort of stuff. So that's why we're trying to hit every different angle, every different player. So maybe we can kind of pepper the entire field with possibilities, and they won't be able to get one by us. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is number 4 in the starting 5. Let's get to number 3.
Left to right, it's Boozer down the lane, off the window, counted in a foul.
What a dish from Dame Sarr, hitting Cameron Boozer in stride, and he carried it all the way into the rim.
ESPN put out a list of the top 50 college basketball players this year. Just this season, first half of the season, who are the 50 best players? That was their task. And put them in order. This was not like NBA top 75 where they just named 75 names in no particular order. They ordered them. Now, let's get the obvious and the inarguable out of the way. Number 1, Cameron Boozer. Number 4, Caleb Wilson. That's obviously Duke's Boozer and UNC's Wilson. If you wanted to nitpick and put Wilson one higher, or you wanted to I don't know, they're in the elite super top tier, okay? I refuse to act like being the 4th best player in the country as a freshman is some kind of an insult. And if you wanted to put somebody else above, whatever, like that is what it is. Those guys are really, really good. They're playing really, really good, and we're just going to leave that on the side. The other 2 local players in the top 50, to me, are the more interesting conversations. Number 28, Henry Vesar, UNC. Number 38, Isaiah Evans, Duke. Those guys are wildly important to their team. Vesar, obviously, because UNC is struggling in the backcourt and their front court has to be so overblown good for them to reach the heights that a team like and a program like UNC chase. Vesar has to be great. And also, people give UNC a hard time for developing players, or maybe lack of developing players. Vesar, what he's doing now was just an idea. It was a dream based on what he put on the floor at Arizona. I think he had 1 or 2 double-doubles in his career. He's had 10 this year and multiple years at Arizona. He was coming off the bench. He wasn't starting. He wasn't really getting the opportunity to show what he can do. And UNC either evaluated fantastically or brought him in and has helped him unlock some upper level. So he becomes wildly important for UNC as they try to right the ship and, move on from that 4-game stretch of rough play. Isaiah Evans for Duke, similarly important. Eventually, and I don't know how many teams out there can realistically do it, but eventually if you're going to, win an ACC championship and make a run at a Final Four or national championship, there's going to be a team that can just throw all of the resources at Cameron Boozer and say somebody else is going to beat me. Right? It's, I was saying this about anyone that played the Rams this year. I was going it wouldn't be Puka, right? You might beat me. Matt Stafford might throw for 400 yards. It's not going to be Puka. I'll double team Puka. And not many teams went that way. Eventually someone's going to say, it's not Cam Boozer. Cam Boozer's not getting 20. We're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at him, and somebody else is going to have to score. Isaiah Evans, especially in ACC play, has stepped up as kind of I'll be ready. I'll help out while he is scoring, but I'll be ready to shoulder the load if somebody does that. So those guys become super important. Top 50 players in the country, top 38 players in the country for all 4 of those guys. Nobody from State, nobody from Wake made the top 50. That's number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the 2 of us.
Every day, a new bit of NFL coaching carousel information comes to light. Never about the Panthers. Raiders are still looking for their head coach. Cardinals are still looking for their head coach. I know that the Raiders early on were linked to Ejiro Evero, the defensive coordinator for the Panthers, a little bit. Haven't heard much of that recently. Maybe it's happening in behind closed doors in the shadows, but I haven't heard that in a while. But there's things like, did you see the Chargers defensive coordinator hire? They grabbed Western Michigan's defensive coordinator, a guy that had been a position coach with the Chargers. But I believe he's going to be coaching some guys that are, at least a couple years older than he is. It's an interesting hire. And that's to replace Jesse Minter, who became the head coach for the Ravens.
Why do you think it's taken so long for the Cardinals and Raiders to hire somebody? Unless they're waiting on someone that's an assistant for the Patriots or the Seahawks, I just don't wonder why it's taking so long.
I think that might be what's going on with the Cardinals. I think Clint Kubiak makes a lot of sense for the Cardinals.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
For the Raiders, I think it may be an involuntary wait. I think they may have offered a few guys and got the no.
I don't know. Well, you get the first overall pick, so you can take Mendoza unless you're completely out on him. But Mendoza, you got Ashton Genty, you got Brock Bowers, you got Michael Mayer. Like, you've got some decent pieces. Your line stinks, but
I was going to say, I noticed you did not say offensive line. And do you know what else you have? And this is, I think Mark Davis as an owner is not super attractive or highly thought of in coaching circles. And then you throw in like the circus that follows Tom Brady, who's now a minority stakeholder and also somehow the face of the franchise.
Yeah, he's kind of running things there.
It's a strange situation, and I just don't know if we're seeing this more. And I don't know if it's smart, by the way, because guys like Bobby Slowick, we're seeing hot coordinators, hot coaching prospects be much more cautious and wait, and I'm going to turn this down. I'm going to stick around. We're seeing it with Udinski, the Jaguars offensive coordinator, who reportedly pulled his name out of the Browns running and maybe a few others. He's like 30 years old because they're thinking I might only get one shot at being a head coach, so I'm going to be the one that says no. I don't know if that's smart because, one bad year, your quarterback gets hurt, your offense falls apart, and all of a sudden it's like, I might never get that shot. But also maybe, you're pretty confident the Browns or the Raiders or whatever aren't going to give you a good enough shot anyway. But it is fascinating. And then to go back to the point I was making at the beginning, all of this chaos, this coach going there, this quarterback's coach, this pass game coordinator becoming an offensive coordinator over here, this offensive coordinator interviewing for every head coaching job, this guy going there, this guy getting fired, this guy getting fired. The Panthers are just like watching, right? You remember, I don't know why this is the analogy. Remember in like middle school where you took a test and you finished early? And this is before like college where you just go walk up, turn your test in and leave. You had to like turn your test in and then you'd go back and sit and you just kind of watched everybody else's, their pencils going 1,000,000 miles an hour and they're crossing stuff off and they're erasing and you just sat there like, I felt pretty good about that. I think that might be the Panthers vibe. They're looking around going like, oh man, our offensive coordinator's gone, got that head coach. We got to get a defensive coordinator. Our quarterback's coach is interviewing to be their offensive coordinator. We got to be ready to replace him. Our linebackers coach is thinking about being the head college coach at his alma mater. What are we going to do? We got to figure all this out. And the Panthers are just like, So do we want to start watching tape for the draft? Golf? Anyone want to golf? Haven't done that in 7 years. I'm an NFL coach. I don't know. It's a weird place for the Panthers to be because they've been scrambly most off seasons over the last 10 years. By the way, I saw Rivera's interviewing for some jobs.
Is he really?
Yeah.
He's in the GM for Cal?
He is the GM for his alma mater. I did see him interview. Now I want to make sure I get this one correct. Here we go. Cardinals. I think he interviewed for the Cardinals job. Yes. Former Commanders and Panthers head coach Ron Rivera interviewed for the Cardinals head coaching job per Diana Rossini. So there's everybody's in the mix. I mean, Phillip Rivers interviewed to be the Bills head coach. Everybody's in the mix except for, it seems, Panthers. Everybody's just chilling there. Maybe it's bad. Nobody wants you. Maybe it's good. Stability. Glass half full. That's number 2. Let's hit number 1.
Number 1.
There it is. Whalers night.
NHL 94 version.
Yeah, I was going to say, sounds like a digital organ. Tonight versus Utah, Whalers night. Canes versus Utah, 7 p.m. right here, 99.9 The Fan. If you want some, I'll give you some quick Whalers night stats, and then Dennis, I will be coming to you for an if-then statement.
All right.
I went back to 2021, all the way back to 2021, every Whalers night. There's 3 of them this year. Going all the way back to 2021, 7 Whalers games total for the Canes. 4 out of those 7 went to overtime. Over 50% of the last 7 Whalers games have gone to overtime. And it's not like, they play the same team and they're just happen to be like super competitive and evenly matched. They lost to Colorado. They beat Colorado. They beat Buffalo, beat New Jersey, lost to Boston, beat New Jersey, lost to Detroit. Like they've been mixing it up. 4 of the last 3. By the way, they did go 4-3 in those 7. In the 4 overtime games, they went 2-2. 3 of those overtime games went to shootouts. You can hear Canes fans going, I bet they didn't have all 3 wins. Yeah, no, they went 1-2 in the shootouts. Skills competition. Sebastian Aho is 1 point per game in the last 7. He has 6 goals, 1 assist, does have a multi-point game and an overtime game winner. Jarvis, 2 goals and 2 assists in those 7 games. Martinook, 1 goal, 3 assists. Svetch, 2 goals, 1 assist. Hall, 1 goal, 2 assists, and he hasn't been here as long. Former guys, Martin Necas did have a goal and 3 assists across those 7 games, and obviously not here for a chunk of them. Mikko Rantanen, in his lone Whalers night, did have 1 goal and 1 assist. So he really didn't try when he was wearing a Canes uniform, but I guess if you put the whale tail on him, he forgot that he was playing for the Canes and went out there and actually produced. He was the first star in that game. And another interesting first star, Antti Ranta does have a first star performance in a Whalers night back January 29th, 2022, 2-1 win over New Jersey. So that's just some fun facts for you. Also, Mrazek was in goal for the 2021 edition. Lost in a shootout. All right. Dennis, as promised,
all right.
I need an if-then statement. Only it's Whalers night, so it's if blank happens tonight, the Whalers will beat the Utah Mammoth.
I think if the top line of Aho, Jarvis, Svechnikov combine for 6 points or more.
6?
Yeah, again, okay. Combined 6 points or more. Canes win.
All right. Interesting.
Because, again, that could also just be attributed on 2 goals. Like, they all factor in.
Yeah, that's true, too. For the nuts and bolts of it all, Robinson out, as expected. That's a longer-term deal. Shane Gostisbehere likely back tonight.
That's right.
Skated the last couple of days in a regular contact sweater and was out there skating at morning skate. Brandon Bussey expected to be in net. I believe it is his first Whalers night, so that's pretty cool. I don't know, just Bussey's been playing well, and I get excited about Whalers night, so put those 2 together. Should be pretty fun. And yes, as a caller pointed out earlier, Utah is nothing to mess with, right? They're putting some things together. This should be a really high level hockey game between 2 teams that have things going. Canes are on a 6-game point streak, so should be good. And the Ehlers still skating with the Stahl Martinook line, which I think is growing some public approval. I think when it first happened, there was a lot of like, what is going on here? But some former Canes that skated with Ehlers in Winnipeg said like, no, I actually think he fits with the Stahl Martinook line, and now everybody's kind of coming around to it. He's been playing well there. Maybe that's something that they keep around, or at least keep in their back pocket as something they can use in the future. But that's according to morning skate lines, he'll be with the Stahl line once again. Anything I missed, Dennis? By the way, Dennis is doing the pregame show here on 99.9 The Fan, sitting in for Adam for Stormwatch. So anything that I'm missing?
Nope, that's it.
There you go. That is the starting 5 here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Now it is time to grab a couple of numbers game contestants. Oh, by the way, starting 5 brought to you by Ritchie Law Firm. Injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com. That's RICCI law.com. Now we'll grab those numbers game contestants. We have Neo and Akon tickets. Neo and Akon at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 10th. If you want to win the tickets, you have to win the numbers game. And you get the glory of being a numbers game champion. The number to call, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Call in now to play the numbers game and maybe get some Neo and Akon tickets. One more time, 919-860-5326. Numbers game next.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and Utah.
Back to Thompson, they score. He saved it, I thought. He saved it. Oh, dear, Bussy.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Luukkonen with the save. Rebound, they score. Seth Jarvis on the power play. Followed his shot and found the back of the net.
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
Hi, Greg Talbot with Strategic Tax Resolution. Tax enforcement and defense strategies have changed a lot over the last year. After nearly 5 years, the IRS has restarted automated collections. You could be next for bank levies and wage garnishments. Ignoring the issue is not an option. Call 984-272-2600 to get protected. Do you have unfiled returns or tax debt? We work directly with the IRS and states so you don't have to. Let us use our proven strategies and experience with the IRS and state to resolve your tax issue. Qualified clients have cut their tax debt by more than 90%. How would that feel? Act now to learn the latest updates to tax relief programs. Your eligibility may not be the same. Strategic Tax Resolution. Local, trusted, A+ rated by the BBB. Call 984-272-2600. Ask for me, Greg Talbot. 984-272-2600. You've got a guy on your side. StrategicTaxResolution.com. Get relief.
Tired of hearing this from your local tire place?
Sorry, we can't fix it. Take it to Dauntless.
This year, skip the middleman and take your car straight to Dauntless Transmissions if you want quality work done right the first time. Transmissions, engine, or brake work, or just a regular tune-up. If it's broke, Dauntless will fix it. For quality work done with the kind of experience that works for you, take it to Dauntless Transmissions first. Go to DauntlessTransmissions.com to book your visit today. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
Chick-fil-A's new frosted sodas and floats. It's a 10 out of 10. Hey, this is Lizzie, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and new frosted sodas and floats is how well they go together. You will love having your favorite soda blended with our creamy ice dream to make a new frosted soda or float. With the mix of the ice dream and soda fizz, it's so delicious, I call it Fizzalicious.
Order a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and a new frosted soda and float at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's Renter's Insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. That's right. Our two contestants for today are Zach in Raleigh and BJ in Fuquay. As always, we'll bring them each onto the show, ask them the very same question, and Dennis will pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first. The prize for today, tickets to see Neo and Akon. So, some catchy tunes, if you know what I'm saying. We'll bring Zach on first. Zach in Raleigh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. It's the same deal. It's a Whalers night, so we're talking awesome uniforms. What is the best? It doesn't have to be hockey. It can be any sport, anytime. What is the best jersey, the best uniform in sports history?
The Mighty Ducks jersey.
All right. Somebody may have been listening to the show earlier. We talked about the Mighty Ducks yesterday. Zach, we appreciate you. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up. That brings us to, should we ask about what era Mighty Ducks? Or do you get to pick? Is it dealer's choice?
No, I think I understand the era that he's going for.
BJ in Fuquay. BJ, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
All right. The same question to you. In honor of the Whalers jerseys, the uniforms, the sweaters, which everybody are pretty excited about, what is the greatest uniform in all of sports throughout history?
I'm going to have to go with the old school Milwaukee Bucks uniform, the purple and green one with the big old buck on the front.
All right, Milwaukee Bucks. I like when people go off the beaten path a little bit, but I'm not the one that you have to convince. Dennis is the judge. Dennis, are we rolling with the Mighty Ducks or the old school Milwaukee Bucks?
That mid-'90s to like mid-2000s era Bucks jerseys, like the Glenn Rice and all that stuff, those were nice.
The early Ray Allen?
Yeah, those were sharp. Those were awesome. This is actually a tough one because you're actually going very similar colors, purple, green, very similar colors and all that. But that duck logo, the Mighty Duck logo with like the duck-shaped goalie face mask, I got to go with the Mighty Ducks on this one.
All right. So
both fantastic answers, by the way.
I just looked up the one with the full buck is pretty sweet.
Yeah, it is.
And that's pretty sweet. So Zach gets to go first. BJ, you'll have your chance. Just stay on hold. Got to wait a minute or two. Zach, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes.
All right. They are NFL players, Panthers throughout history. NFL players with only 8 letters in their name. NBA, that's first and last combined. NBA players that are current players with late January birthdays, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it based on the category, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Shane Gostisbehere, Carolina Hurricanes.
48.
Incorrect. Keandre Miller, Carolina Hurricanes.
19.
Correct. Justin Robidoux, Carolina Hurricanes.
32.
Incorrect. Shane Gostisbehere, Carolina Hurricanes.
4.
Correct. Craig Adams, Carolina Hurricanes.
52.
Incorrect. Justin Robidoux, Carolina Hurricanes.
17.
Incorrect. Craig Adams, Carolina Hurricanes.
18.
Incorrect. You did get 2. I heard a little assist there, but that's allowed. Shane Gostisbehere, we would have accepted 4 or 41. You got that one. Keandre Miller, 19. Got that, so you got both of the current guys. Robidoux, we were looking for 46, and Adams, we would have taken 27 or 28. But 2 is your number, Zach. That'll be the lead in the clubhouse. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up. And that brings us to BJ. BJ, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players, Panthers throughout history. NFL player. Oh, okay. I like the decisiveness. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. And you need at least 3 correct answers for the win. Any questions before we get started?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers.
9.
Correct. Rocket Ishmael, Carolina Panthers.
Pass.
Sam Mills, Carolina Panthers.
51.
Correct. Deshaun Foster, Carolina Panthers.
26.
Correct. Graham Gano, Carolina Panthers.
10.
Incorrect. Rocket Ishmael, Carolina Panthers.
I passed that one.
There's nothing. You only got 2. Go.
3.
Incorrect. Graham Gano, Carolina Panthers. You got 3. You got the win. Congratulations. And you even took up some time there in the middle. That's kind of, like a Usain Bolt celebrating before crossing the line. You got 3. That's all you needed. You got Bryce. You got Sam Mills. You got Deshaun Foster. So congratulations. You're seeing Neo and Akon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Go ahead and stay on the line, and Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you get your prize. For those of you playing at home, by the way, yes, Bryce was 9. Rocket was 81. Sam Mills, 51, as you heard. Deshaun Foster, we would have accepted 20 or 26. So, could have gotten a few ways there. And Graham Gano, Carolina Panthers kicker, number 9. So a couple of 9s, which, special place in my heart. That's my college number. And again, I do my best to explain the rules, but if you listen often, just a little bit of a refresher, you can pass once. And what that does is it allows you to hear another number if you get stuck. But you're never going to hear more than 5. There's only 5 numbers. So if you get through with all the rest, we come back to it if you passed it. And by that point, you've seen more numbers. All you can do is just shoot out a number, right? Just say something. It's the same thing as passing. Instead of passing you 9, 8, 7, any of them, right? It's essentially the same as a pass once you used your pass. I hope that made sense. And if it didn't, I apologize. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I do want to remind everybody, we talked with Wallace Clark, the head coach of Heritage High School. That's head football coach at Heritage High School earlier today. Obviously, doing his thing in the local sports world now with Heritage, but also he was the defensive coordinator when Drake Thomas was patrolling the field for the Huskies. And Drake Thomas is now patrolling the field for the Seattle Seahawks, one of their most productive defensive players this year. A real breakout season for Drake Thomas, who played at NC State for his college ball. I've been using this statistic to explain how much of a breakout season it's been for Drake, which is, to me, crazy. This is his 3rd year in the NFL. First 2 years combined, 16 tackles, mostly on special teams. This year, 96 tackles, 3.5 sacks, an interception, a forced fumble, and he's been in on some of the biggest plays of the entire year for Seattle, playing a significant role in the postseason. Did miss the last couple of little bit of the conference championship game with an injury. I haven't quite heard if he's a definite yes or limited or whatever it's been for the Super Bowl prep, but obviously, we're all hoping for the local guy to get a chance to get out there and play. And Wallace Clark, we talked to him about the making of Drake Thomas back in his high school days. Ton of local connections in the Super Bowl, by the way. Obviously, Drake May, UNC, Garrett Bradbury, Patriots center, NC State, both of those guys from Charlotte. There's a few guys kicking around on the practice squads. Sam Darnold spent some time with the Carolina Panthers. I don't know if you remember that. So there's
heard of him.
Lot of yeah. I don't know why he didn't do that when he was on the squad. You know what I mean?
Right.
All these great downfield throws. So I don't know where it was at. DJ Moore could have used some of those. But that's a whole other beast. Joe Brady's now the head coach of the Bills. Christian McCaffrey's the best player in the league.
Also, Derek Young for the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay,
the guy that jumped on the fumble on the muffed punt in the NFC Championship game. Derek Young, he's a wide receiver, went to Lenore Ryan High School, went to Middle Creek High School right here in the Raleigh area.
It's like they're just cranking out stars.
Yeah, he was a 7th-round pick back in 2022 out of Lenore Ryan.
Which, by the way, the guy jumping on a football in the conference championship game is the best athlete most of us have ever met. Like it's insane how good NFL athletes are.
Yeah, special teamer, 6'2", 224.
Exactly.
Yeah, went to Middle Creek High School.
Can he forecheck? Can he back check? Like
6'2",
yeah,
right. 6'2", 224.
Sorry, wrong. Never mind.
That's Jordan Stahl running.
Wrong trade deadline. I mean, there are a few guys like that. I listened to a whole conversation the other day.
What's his AAV?
I forget who was. He's definitely cheaper than quite a few guys. I listened to a whole conversation the other day on international team handball and how they thought if you just took quarterbacks, you could go dominate international team handball.
Really?
Because like you throw, and these guys are insane. And if you get like a Lamar Jackson athleticism, you mix it with like, his ability to just absolutely launch it, it'll be insane.
Used to throwing under pressure too?
Exactly. Running around, throwing on the run. Like, that's what they do. Give him 6 months. He'll be a gold medalist.
It's not bad, actually.
It would have to take a significant pay cut, but we can discuss that another day.
That's true.
We can discuss that another day. Like Kyler Murray running around, quick feet, quick as a cat, and then all of a sudden launching it. Olympics are what? 3 years, 2 years and change away for the summer games in LA. Let's do it. There's already flag football. Let's get them all there. 2 sports. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan.
We should actually pick a roster of 10 QBs. But they can't be NFL starters, though. We have to go Diego Pavia type deal.
I like that even more.
Yeah.
The guys who are just unbelievable athletes that can throw it a mile, but weren't that great in a football setting.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you see that with bobsled or something, like a sprinter that cool runnings. But Lolo Jones just went and became a bobsledder because she was super fast.
Yeah.
Maybe it's hey, if you don't make it in football, quarterbacks, international team handball just sitting there waiting for you. Like the super athletic defensive linemen with pro wrestling. They're just sitting around before you lose all that weight, why don't you just lift even heavier and jump off things? There's little pivots. Right? We might be onto something there.
I think we are.
We might be onto something. That's not my original idea, but I heard other people
DJ
talking about it.
Uiagalelei?
Yeah.
Big guy? Just saying.
He might be a wrestler too.
He actually could be.
His brother, by the way, Mateo. I think draft pick this year, edge rusher.
Really?
I'm like, you know what? Take DJ's skill set and just have him grow up being an edge rusher. Probably a first-round pick.
Probably.
Different beast. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Dennis has something he'd like to say.
I do?
I thought you did.
No, I don't, actually.
All right, never mind. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We will be back with a fun conversation about coaches in North Carolina. Stick around.
Finally.
Yes, finally. There's an app for 99.9 The Fan.
Finally!
Listen to your favorite hosts, your teams, and live sports action.
Touchdown, Philadelphia! They are destroying the Chiefs!
And every podcast episode at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today. Powered by Aspire Money Management.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336.
It's the playoffs, and honestly, your living room isn't ready for this. Your couch doesn't have award-winning wings, your fridge doesn't have 30 beers on tap, and your TV, it's outnumbered. Carolina Ale House has wall-to-wall TVs. We've got homemade favorites, ice-cold beer, and enough screens to catch every game at once. So grab your crew, bring your appetite, and yell at the TV like a professional. Don't fumble your game day plans. Watch the playoffs at Carolina Ale House, where great sports deserve great food. Ale, yeah.
Now, let's take a short break from our 8-hour ode to the oboe for a word from our sponsor, Mr. First Tuesday. Get your scratch-offs on the very first Tuesday. Looks like we've got a caller on the line.
How are you not more excited about new scratch-offs? There's millions in prizes.
Who is this?
Oh, this is Mr. First Tuesday. And by the way, it goes, get your scratch-offs on the very first Tuesday.
Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget tonight, Canes game taking on Utah. Whalers game taking on Utah. Whalers night. They'll be wearing the throwbacks. You can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan, so just keep it tuned. We will have Overdrive coming up immediately after this show, talking a little Canes, talking a little Panthers, getting near the end of our offseason roster kind of table setting series. So that's all coming up. In the meantime, I want to be clear here. Okay, we're gonna have a conversation here about coaches in North Carolina, and I'll explain the whole gist of it. But I do want to give a hat tip for a very specific reason to NC Sports Report. And I also want to make sure that you are not confusing the hat tip and the reasoning. NC Sports Report kind of started this conversation. They put it out on Instagram a couple days ago, a list of what they called the top coaches in North Carolina. And it's a top 10 list that is sport diverse, right? There's basketball coaches, soccer coaches, hockey coaches, football coaches, all on one list, college, pro, the whole thing, all mixed into one list of the best coaches in the state of North Carolina. And that sparks fun conversation. I think that's a really good bar conversation, right? Like, who's the best coach in North Carolina, sport, whatever. I'm not hat tipping them for their actual list. I think there are massive flaws with their actual list. Their list, which they described as these rankings are based on what they've accomplished with their current team. No legacy boost, no past resumes doing the heavy lifting, just real impact and results right now. Number 1, John Shire. Number 2, Rod Brindamore. 3, Hubert Davis. 4, Dean Smith with the Charlotte FC. You know, that name's always going to be confused around here. Number 5, Canales with the Panthers. 6, Dave Doran. 7, Bill Belichick. 8, Charles Lee with the Hornets. 9, Manny Diaz. And 10, Will Wade. That's their list. Many things I disagree with.
Yeah, okay. So, again, that's just based off of just their time at the school or team they're with in North Carolina, correct?
I think it's actually like what they're doing with their team this year, like their current team. Anyway, I read the description. I don't want to debate their list. Okay. I don't want to, like, their list is their list. Their explanations are their explanations. I think it's a good, fun conversation to have. So we're just going to hat tip them and then take it and have our own conversation. The way I'm phrasing this is you have one game in whatever sport they coach, or one season, in whatever sport they coach, right? So if you're talking Rod Brindamore, you're talking NHL hockey. If you're talking Bill Belichick, you're talking ACC Power 4 Conference college football. You have one season. You have to win the championship. They do not have their current rosters. You are being given a average talent roster for the group, right? So average NHL team or average talent, average roster, some stars, some role players for whatever league they are in. And they have to win the championship, or because I watched Space Jam with my son over the weekend, you are going to be banished to Moron Mountain just like in Space Jam if they didn't win their game. What coach from the state of North Carolina, any sport, right now, would you want? And I'm requesting a top 5 in order, okay?
Okay.
Top 5 in order. I have mine in front of me. Should we go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, reveal them one at a time?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll let you go first.
My 5, and I thought about this for a long time. This is not, by the way, we're not doing like just at this school, just at this year. It is this coach, how good of a coach you think they are. I put Belichick 5.
Okay.
Reason being, he's being given average talent. And I think the biggest problem at Carolina, and I think the biggest problem in his later years with the Patriots, was his rosters weren't talented enough. A lot of that his own doing. But if he's being given average, I still believe he can coach you up and teach you and make it work, and all that information, all that expertise can't have gone completely out the window. So Belichick 5. This is a very recent addition, and it could be recency bias. I put Jake Dickert, Wake Forest, 4.
Yeah, Dickert's definitely on my list.
Stepped into Wake Forest late in the game. Somebody else's recruits, some recruits he brought in, some transfers. Had a great season. Guys were getting hurt, playing through it. I was really impressed. So he's number 4.
You could say that he had a below-average roster and still did what he did this past year.
Did very well, yeah. That's what I'm saying. And I don't know if it's sustainable. I don't know. He did well at Washington State with a very tough situation where they were getting like left out of the big Pac-12 whatever future that didn't exist. But I liked him this year. Number 3, I'm going Aaron Matson. Field hockey, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah. UNC field hockey? Makes sense.
She won a bunch as a player, and immediately transitioned to coach, and I think that's a huge advantage. She would relate to everybody. She knows what it's like to be a player. I'm going with Mattson. There's a mic'd up at a Pro Bowl a couple years ago between Mahomes and Max Crosby that just went viral. It's like the 2021 Pro Bowl, something like that. And they were talking about Vrabel, and they were like, it'd be awesome to play for Vrabel. He feels like a player, and they settled on he's like your uncle, where like he's going to let you do you, he's going to give you some space, and you almost want to disappoint, or you want to not disappoint him more than like super strict parents, because like he's cool and he's giving us rope, he's giving us a little leash here, he's going to let us do some things. So you work extra hard. I think a recent player would kind of have that vibe. So I like Erin Mattson, and she wins national championships and stuff. Number 2, I went Shire. I know that he walked into Duke, which was already a like cranking kind of machine. Being the guy after the guy is not easy. And you see it all throughout sports where, you know, a legend retires, the next one really struggles, and then sometimes it's the next guy or the next woman that takes over that gets to, you know, benefit from the dynasty. As of right now, he's winning 82% of his games, something like that. And that's the highest rate over the first 4 years of a college basketball coach, tied with Brad Stevens at Butler, which doesn't play the Duke schedule. So, yeah, I think he's a pretty good coach. And then number 1, I put Rod Brindamore. There could be some debates on like whether an average talent roster could do what he asks them to do. I think he's smart enough to like not ask an average smart roster or an average talent roster to do what he asks like Slavin and Aho to do. I think he would find a way to make it work, and at the very least, they'd be wildly conditioned and just try to outwork teams. So I'm putting Rod Brindamore all the way at the top and seeing how that goes.
You and I had very similar lists. I had number 5 on my list. This is actually an idea that popped into my head from our boss down the hall, Paul Eihender, LaVelle Moton. If you give LaVelle Moton an average roster in the MEAC, he's going to win.
Paul thought, we talked about this a bit off air, Paul thought outside the box a little more, and I really like the idea of, well, if you're giving someone an average roster, go find someone that does pretty well with well below average roster and then give him the average roster and see what happens. And I don't want to say well below because I don't want to disrespect his players, but Moton gets more with less.
Yeah.
I think that was a very smart, heady pick.
All right, my next one, number 4, Jake Dickert, was next
Beautiful.
one on my list. I actually went number 3. I went Wes Moore, NC State women's basketball coach. I think he's just a damn good coach, plain and simple. I went number 2. I also went John Shire as well because I think he has shown the ability to adapt his game around his players. Last year's team was definitely up and down. They could run. They could do all the different stuff with obviously all the talent that they had. This year, he basically has turned into a ground and pound defense like type team, like ground and pound running game type team. And that's like, you know, doing a football comparison, and that's okay.
I've talked about this a lot. The thing that I appreciate most about Shire is how it wasn't like a fully formed coach when he took over, but the things that are the most obvious weakness one year become a very obvious strength the next year. And I think that's a really solid way to go about your game.
And number 1, I went with Rod Brindamore because I actually remember back 2018, 2019, 2020, those rosters that he had early on coaching the Canes, they were kind of average rosters. Like when you look on the grand scheme of things compared to the rest of the NHL, yeah, there were some star players, but even bad teams have some star players as well. And he did more with less.
And obviously this isn't like a fully formed hypothetical. When we say average talent, we don't know if they get to pick like the skill sets of the average talent or whatever. We don't know what other teams are rocking with. We're really just trying to say, like, if you had for your future to avoid Moron Mountain, you needed to depend on a coach, who would it be? I don't think anybody would be upset if Rod Brindamore was kind of controlling your fate there. You would feel like you had a fighter's chance. I did think it was interesting, though, after making my list. My top 2 guys I think are very good coaches, but it is worth mentioning neither has won a championship. And in this hypothetical, I need them to. So I'm picking them to get off the schneid. They're due, and they better, or else I'm the one suffering here. But I'm all right with the pick. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have Overdrive coming up next. Little Canes trade rumor talk to start things off. followed up by some Panthers talk as well. And then Dennis with Stormwatch, getting you ready for Whalers night. Enjoy that. Enjoy the game. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and Utah.
Back to Thompson, they score. He saved it, I thought. He saved it. Oh, dear, Bussy.
Stormwatch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Luukkonen with the save. Rebound, they score. Seth Jarvis on the power play. Followed his shot and found the back of the net.
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
ESPN presents the NHL Stadium Series in a most unexpected